Somehow hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a VV. I'm sorry, it's an Omi Homie video number 78 with my co-host Crypto Rain, and normally it's Dr. Stuff, but you're not Dr. Stuff. You're someone else.
I could be. I could change my name on the stream
You,
here.
you are the Akomi community manager, Foster Hill, who is should receive a lot of praise today for the hard work you've been doing and the announcements that have befallen us. And we'll get all into that. But first off, gentlemen, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How about you guys? How you guys doing?
Terrible. I thought we had this agreement that Omi was going to stay down till my other bags had pumped, and somebody broke that agreement.
Yeah.
Foster, I mean, I might as well blame you since you're the Omi community.
I mean, everyone else does. Why not, eh?
Yeah.
Why not?
Fogg clearly knows what's going on. He's like, I'm glad I topped up to 20 million Omi over the past few weeks. Yes, because low prices don't always stay low.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, things go up and things go down. That's why I said I never trouble myself with intraday movements of the token because that's just not why I'm here. And so, days like today are certainly exciting, but I think they're more exciting representatively of what it means for accessibility and for what Omi is as a project moving forward. I think it gives us a lot of validity as a project for an exchange like Kraken, who, a global top 5 exchange, to recognize us for our merits. And certainly there are thousands upon thousands of tokens out there right now vying for the major exchanges' attention. And so having an opportunity like this to have an exchange like theirs recognize us for what we're building and where we believe that we're headed, and for them being able to support us through that as we look to kind of hit that next leg up, it's a validating piece for us. And certainly, for me, I think I engaged with I think I shared it earlier today when I was in a space with Myria. I think I first engaged with their team in August. So this has been like this wasn't like, hey, last week, let's have a chat. And hey, it just came. Like, this has been like a process, right? And so there's a ton of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. We've been building out a ton of things. And so this is just kind of serendipitously, it's lining up perfectly with kind of our wider direction for kind of our deliverables and things that we're rolling out, such as Omi the Gem. And so, yeah, it's cool. I was just on CoinMarketCap, and I like to hit the positive sentiment at least once a day when I'm on there. I'm not even really looking for the price. It's just letting people know, there's people that believe in the project and whatever. And the top comment it just says like, Omi's cooked, son. Don't let the small price fluctuations deter you. And then I refresh the 1 week and it's up 100%. I'm like, yeah, it's small, I guess, right? Like, in the grand scheme. But, it's funny. You have days like today, and you don't have them very often, right? And I mean, like, we'll have, a half a dozen to a dozen of days like today a year. And so I really try and enjoy them when they come. And so, yeah, it's a cool feeling.
It's a top gainer.
Most people do not understand that in crypto, 94% of the time, it is not where you want it to be. And like, generally the trajectory is down, because when it finally really goes up, it goes up very, very fast usually. And so like 6% of the time is like going amazing. And so some people can't last. They can't wait. They get impatient. They wash out like that guy is like, like Omi is cooked. And it's like, they just don't understand this game. And to me, this just is a game. This is early stage business investing, having faith when everybody loses faith, because the secret to investing that it's so fundamental, yet so many people get wrong, is buy low, sell high. But for you to be able to buy low, that means you're literally buying when most people are selling. And so the sentiment is always way, way down when way more people are selling than buying. And that's when the cheap prices look. So if I didn't hear Omi is cooked, I would be concerned, because that means I'm probably buying high, hoping it goes higher, which is the common mistake that most people make, that they don't make money in crypto, because that's what they're doing. They wait till Omi goes 20x, and then they're like, I'm going to jump in. And it's like, okay. Remember that conversation we had 3 months ago when it was way, 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 way cheap? Yeah. Why didn't you get in then? Well, because it was going down. So now it's up 20x and you want to buy now? Like, we're blessed if it goes 5x from here. And you missed all the gains, like all the big chunk of the gains. That first 20x is everything, because while you're up 5x, everyone else who invested way down there is up 100x. Not very many things go 100x in a bull run.
Very small amount.
Yeah, but buy low, sell high, right? But so few people do that. So I'm really disappointed in you, Foster. The prices were like, the prices went down almost to quadruple zeros, and I was like, yes. I just need some other things in my portfolio just to double from here, and I can just load up on OMI like crazy, and then, disappointment happens, and it's your fault for getting, Kraken and stuff. Like, you could have purposely messed that up and made it stay lower, cheaper longer. But
I'll remember that for the next.
You have to do what's in the best interest of a Comey and stuff.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
Not us investors that love buying super duper low. Like, it seems like it will never stop going down low.
A lot of Foster love here. Foster, you were mentioning before that when you'd first started talking to Kraken in August, there was you mentioned before that spiel that you had they like you they like OMI because of what you guys are building, not necessarily for anything that you could provide them, let's say like Binance. In Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets, Draco Malfoy gets onto the Slytherin Quidditch team because his dad buys them all new Thunderbolt. And Hermione tells them, like, well, at least everyone on Harry's side in Gryffindor, they made it on pure talent. They didn't have to buy their way in. Are you saying that we made it because of our merits and not just a check that we wrote?
I mean, I can't speak for the exchange at the end of the day and ultimately what led them to make the decision, but I can guarantee that it's not like we slid them a bag of OMI to get us listed either. So, I hope that it's based on our merits, right? And certainly, I think through the conversations that we had with them, I think they recognized the direction that we're headed rather than maybe where we're at currently. And so, I think there's a lot of macro and narrative factors that play into NFT companies as a whole, right? I think we're certainly not the only company that's potentially overlooked right now when it comes to the things that they're building so far as, NFTs and digital collectibles. But I think we have a very unique value proposition, and that's the community that we bring to the table. And so when I'm having these conversations with exchanges, that's really the main thing that I'm leading with, right? Is we have this many active users that are KYC'd, are engaged. They're not bots. Look at our social media. Look at the engagement that we get. Look at the comments. It's not, 50 people saying the same 2 words. Like, these are real people posting real things, and who have real interest in taking a part of what you have to offer. And so I think one of the really cool value props that we have is that this will be the first time that the OMI token is listed on a centralized exchange that's available for US residents. And so when we look at our demographics, so far as VV holders, because of course we don't have the full demographic for OMI holders, but if we kind of transpose the amount of VV holders to the amount of OMI holders that may be from a particular region, North America makes up almost 50%, right? And currently, there's really no options available. And so when we're going to exchanges and we're saying, hey, look at our volume, look at our engagement, look at our metrics. Now imagine what this would look like if you had 100% of the engaged user base coming to your platform. Oh, and hey, a lot of these people have never been in crypto before. So their first foray into an exchange in general will be yours. And so when they come in to utilize your exchange, they may start by using it for OMI, but then guess what? Maybe they buy some Bitcoin. Maybe they buy some Ethereum. Maybe they find some meme coins you have listed and they want to do that as well. And you've now created a lifelong customer by giving us an opportunity versus listing us, being the 7th or 8th platform that's done so in a particular region. who's leaving X exchange to come to Y when they're already familiar with the user interface? They've already done the KYC once. They've done no one's doing that, right? Whereas I think for a lot of our user base, they either utilize Kraken already, or if they didn't even know what Kraken was before today, they're going to take a look at it and go, wow, these guys, they take security very seriously. They're regulatory compliant. They're available in a ton of jurisdictions. And I was having a conversation with someone earlier today. They didn't even know that Kraken was available in the US. Is this bigger than Binance? And I said, well, it's subjective whether it's bigger than Binance, but I said it's more globally available than Binance. They didn't even know that Binance wasn't available in the US and Kraken was, right? And so I think as you start to look at these opportunities, like the UK is going to be able to use it. They're the second largest demographic by users with VV, right? And so you go, what? No exchanges can utilize in the UK right now for OMI. Same thing in the US. Canada, third largest demographic. Ontario, largest province. No exchanges accessible here, right? So as you start to see the potential that comes from having a reputable exchange like Kraken, which is a global top 5 exchange by CoinGecko rankings, I think it's going to open up a lot of doors. I think it's going to give us a lot of validity across the wider space. I think a lot of other native Web3 people who understand Kraken are going to take us more seriously. And I also think it's going to open up a lot more liquidity for users who are looking to more seamlessly either onboard or off-ramp to and from the OMI token.
Mm-hmm. Well, damn it, Foster, for fixing this. What a lot of people don't understand is when you're buying a project and say the token price, if that's what you're buying, some people here are just VV collectible collectors, which is awesome. I'm in the crypto space because for the investing side, VV attracted my attention. Unfortunately, some of the collectibles I bought, I will never be able to sell because I'm too emotionally attached to them because I'm a nerd at heart. And I know a lot of you are nerds at heart too, so we're in the right place. And I'm happy that I can also invest in their OMI token, the investor side. I'm happy I can buy extra VV stuff so I can sell it. And some of it I'll never be able to part with because I like it too much. Well, with that said, you buy before the problems are fixed, not after. So it's like, as they fix these problems, the price will go up. Now, temporarily it's gone up because this is really big news. Kraken, that was totally unexpected. On my part, like Kraken, I would prefer Kraken over Binance because it's available in the US and other jurisdictions too. And Binance is great, but it's not available in the US. And so really, what good does that do? Because the other exchanges, Binance is a much bigger exchange than the other exchanges it's on, but already non-US investors have access to those exchanges. It's a major demographic that didn't have easy access to before. And a smart choice on Kraken's part because it will give them access to people who would not have otherwise joined their exchange. So smart move on their part. What you see is as these problems get fixed, then the price goes up. And so if there's no problems to fix, usually the price is no longer low at all. So some people complain about, oh, they need to fix this. They're not on Coinbase. They're not on major exchanges in the US. And so as they fix these problems, then the price usually starts heading expensive. And when the price gets really expensive, that's a great time to sell after you've been buying when things were really cheap. And I was really enjoying where the price was at because personally, I'm not concerned that OMI's in a high failure risk point. And so when I like a company and I see the token price get even cheaper, I just think it's on a bigger sale, and that's good news. Once it starts heading the other way, I feel a little bit of disappointment. I'm like, dang it, like this was inevitable. And of course, now it's available on Kraken. Like if we're lucky, maybe it'll come back down. But I've seen sometimes in the past that it hits a price like this and it just never comes back down to those lows. So I don't know how to play out in a second, but definitely a good day for the price action. In fact, from its recent lows, it's up 2x from where it was just on the 5th of this month. So 6 days ago.
So there's episode of Gilmore Girls where Rory decides to go to Yale and not Harvard, and the mom's pissed about it, but the grandparents are like, well, listen, if you want her to get into Harvard, the fact that she got into Yale, don't you think that would make Harvard want her more? And it's like, okay, well, she hadn't thought about that. Now that we're on a US-based exchange officially, and I know we kind of are on Coinbase through the DEX program, but some people claim that it's not a real listing because there's no order book. Is part of the reason we went on Kraken is because, hey, this might have Coinbase want us more. Is it still worth it to list on there, even though we're in the DEX program? Or is it like, we're already on? I just want your take on it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is certainly not one of those like date the friend's best friend to make her jealous type of situation. That's not the route that we were going. I think for us, when we look at pursuing any form of accessibility, so whether it's sex listings, whether it's a DEX integration or listing, and whether it's fiat onboarding, when we're looking at all of these, really the goal is not just where it is, it's also when it is and then why it matters, right? So over the last 6 months, we probably could have had no less than a dozen exchange listings, right? But when I say exchange listings, I'm not necessarily referring to Kraken quality exchange listings, right? I'm referring to more tier 2, tier 3 exchanges. But what's the point in spreading out liquidity across 30 different exchanges and having users not have a good order book and good depth for them to be able to participate en masse when you could have 2 or 3 really good exchanges that have that depth and liquidity, that are accessible to all users, that are also the most popular? And once you have those, you don't really need anything else. Like, the idea of having as many exchange listings as possible, it's somewhat irrelevant, right? Like, once you've landed a Kraken, and then I'm not going to list other exchanges because people are going to be like, oh, that's happening. But everyone knows the top 5 or so exchanges, right? So we're on OKX, right? Global top 5 exchange. We're not being listed on Kraken, global top 5 exchange. We're listed on Gate, which is a global top 10 exchange. We're listed on Mexi, which is also a global top 10 exchange, right? So when you look at kind of having those 4, whatever, yes, of course, you could get listed on KuCoin, HTX, Bybit, Upbit. You can do all of that, right? But when we kind of look at who's our target demographic, why would it make sense to list on some other exchanges that are not accessible to US users? Because the biggest thing when we list on exchanges, and inevitably the very first question that we get from anyone, is when US-based listing, right? When we listed on BingX, which was important to us as we looked to target more of the APAC region for different brands and licenses that Vivi's working towards, the main question people had is when US-based listing, right? And of course, it makes perfect sense because they're the biggest demographic. And so having something like that is important. Now, does that mean because you have one, you don't need any more? No, certainly not. I mean, we would always aim to give users choices. And obviously Coinbase, as an example, is a fantastic exchange. We're integrated onto the base layer for the token. All of our token utility is being built out on the base network. So that to us feels like a natural progression. But certainly, sorry?
Kraken supports both, OMI on base and ETH?
Kraken supports both networks. We'll release more information about what networks the OMI token will be available on as we release the article. But yes, they do support the base network. And so when we kind of look at those opportunities, it's, it felt like that natural transition. And so one of the things that we had done over the last couple of months, and what we needed to do in order to proceed with Kraken, was to get our MiCA compliance. So get all of our legal and regulatory paperwork to operate in the European Union. So they have a very specific set of rules that are required in order to have tokens listed that are available to European residents. So getting our MiCA white paper was something that we needed to do. And this was something that took a few months to do, right? We were working with lawyers, we were working with different companies to help us with it. And we were officially accepted by the European regulator on November 7th, which was the reason that this hadn't been announced sooner, because we had to wait for that confirmation from the regulator. We originally planned to have this listing the week before the Omida Gem rollout, but regulators will do what regulators do. And so it did get pushed back a little bit, which is fine at the end of the day, right? But just to kind of show you the pieces that go into this, and when we had started those conversations to where we are now, and how long some of these things can take. So, rest assured to the community, if you're listening and, you're hoping for another exchange, or before today, you were hoping for a US-based exchange, know that we're hearing this feedback and that we're working hard towards these ends. And just because something doesn't happen the day after you ask for it doesn't mean that we're not working behind the scenes very hard to make it a reality for you guys moving forward. So, yeah.
Faith is believing in things unseen. Thank you, everyone, for the comments, being here. We have a bunch of, I'll be using Kraken now. Foster, how long do we have you for?
I have an hour.
Okay.
So we still have some time for sure.
All right, sweet. Rain, you got anything before we get on to some of the other stuff that we'd like Foster's opinion on?
Well, that's exciting. Kraken, smart move on Kraken's part. I think they will pick up some users because of this. Some US people will get accounts that would not have otherwise gone to Kraken. So smart strategically for them to add that, because it's an eventuality in my mind, not that I have any insider news on this, that OMI someday will be on Coinbase, and probably not someday too distant, because I think, my opinion as an investor myself that's got OMI, I think as crypto goes crazy, this digital collectibles narrative is going to catch on tremendously. As it does, people say, what's a token associated with VV? OMI. And then, then people just then throw money at OMI, and then the price goes crazy, and then you start getting exchange calls from the exchange, or they just rogue list it. They just provide the liquidity themselves so they can have it on there. And in that environment, it's really easy to get on Coinbase if you're not on it directly already. There was once a point in time that one of the tokens I was buying super cheap, people would say, I'm not going to buy it till they're on Coinbase. I was like, why would you wait till then? Because I was buying it when they weren't on Coinbase. And later when they were on Coinbase, they were like 7 times higher. So it was like, oh, I guess you don't like that buy low part of the buy low, sell high formula. Okay. See how it goes for you. I don't even know if they did come around and buy it after it was listed on Coinbase. That was just the excuse for why they weren't buying it, because they don't understand buy low. So OMI's been at this amazing point. We believe in what you're doing and what Akomi is doing, the Akomi team and VV. I'm excited. Like, we even dedicated a show once a week to talk about VV and OMI, which we haven't done that for any other project. So we kind of like you guys.
It's really cool that you guys do that. And like I said, when I lead any conversation, it starts with the community, right? And that's just the reality. And I think one of the things with Kraken, right? Exchanges are businesses at the end of the day, right? So one of the things that they're looking at is, well, what's the volume of your token, right? Like, are we going to make money listing this token, or is this a giant waste of time for us? And I think one of the easy sells for us when we're having these conversations is, well, the reason that the volume may not be as high is because no one can access the token, right? So it's kind of the problem, like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like, well, if no one can access the token, how do you expect the volume to be high without access? But if we have the access, what could the possibilities be? And if you were the only one that had access in this jurisdiction, what could that mean for you? And so that was really my main selling point when I went to Kraken. And so it's cool. It's cool, like, that they saw it too, and that they agreed at the end of the day to give us a shot. And so I don't want to have us fumble this opportunity. I think that this is a great opportunity. And I've always been a very firm believer. People talk about, I work in a city environment, and people go, oh, nepotism, that's how people get jobs, right? It's who you know. And I've always said, like, I never had those resources, right? And so what I've always told people is, get me the interview and I will get the job. I will earn it on my merits. Just let me get my foot in the door. And I think what Kraken has now done for us as an opportunity is they've allowed us to get our foot in the door, right? And so now when other exchanges see us, they go, oh, well, we don't have to spend 3 months waiting for them to draft their MiCA white paper and get that compliance. They're already clear to operate in these jurisdictions, right? And this is something that, as an example, Coinbase is doing as well, right? Is that they require, through the regulators, by December of this year, for tokens, if you want to remain listed in the European Union, you need to have this MiCA compliance paper, right? And so it's really interesting to see this as kind of a nod. And certainly the person that just joined us now could probably speak to compliance and all that stuff when it comes to the MiCA white paper and the importance of getting something like that. But like I said, now that we've had it, we can share it with every exchange that wants to list us in a specific jurisdiction. And we literally just have to send them one paragraph. It's literally a copy-paste paragraph. We give you permission to use this white paper. You don't need to draft one yourself. And the exchange goes, okay, well, we don't need to spend the resources drafting a white paper for them. They're accessible in all these regions. They've already listed. The community was interested. It gained a lot of, momentum. We've seen the volume increase because of it. The sentiment increased because of it as well. Why don't we give them a chance as well? And so, I'm seeing it as a positive catalyst for things moving forward. I certainly don't want to make any promises so far as further exchange listings may go, but I do genuinely believe that the announcement today will open up a lot of doors. And I mean, even just the engagement that we've seen on socials so far, I think it's definitely the most interacted with and liked tweet we've had of the year so far. It's at 377 likes. It's got over 32,000 views, and this is just an announcement of an announcement. This doesn't even include Kraken's marketing that's going to go into this as well, because that's another piece that we have coming up prior to the exchange listing. Is we'll have about a week of marketing that goes into the listing prior to the listing itself going live. So this is just, hey, throw it out, don't pay for any promotion, just whatever, right? And so that to me is a glimpse of things to come, and it's other things, like I said, that we can signal to other exchanges as we talk to them. Hey, look what we're doing and look at the outcome that it's had. And, I don't like to talk about price very often because it's not why we're here, but exchanges care. And if I can go to an exchange and say, hey, token's going to go up 42% in a day and you're going to get eyes on this because it's a top gainer, you should consider listing us because that interest is there. We now have that going for us. Before we didn't. So very cool.
I'm very glad there's going to be that joint marketing campaign, even if it's only for a week. I feel like that's all you really need. That's a really long time in crypto and internet stuff. Welcome back, Dr. Stuff.
Well, I think Kraken has 1.3 million followers on Twitter. And of course, those are 1.3 million people that are in crypto Web3 that are interested in projects that are being listed. And 1.25 million or more of them probably have never heard of the OMI token, right? And so it really allows us to target the perfect demographic that we're looking for, right? So people always say, when marketing, you guys never talk about the token, whatever the case may be. It's like, well, you could talk about the token on socials, we could do, but if you're targeting the same demographic that's already here, you're not gaining users, right? And so if we're going to run, marketing campaigns and do these types of things, having them coincide with listings that exist like this that are going to onboard a lot more eyes into the project, it's the perfect fit.
Got one thing, and then we'll go to Dr. Stuff because he just got here, and I assume he wants to say hey. Earlier this week, it was announced that Cryptoys, which we haven't seen anything from, they had a couple of tweets this year, but they haven't really had any revenues or any drops in really over a year. But they had announced that they are partnering with Abstract. I don't know if there's any acquisition there with them and with Pudgy Penguins. They seemed really into it. But a lot of the people seem to think that this was Disney's first time going on the blockchain. They're like, oh my God, the mouse is going to the blockchain. And they didn't know. So is there anything that you guys on the Ecomi side are looking at as far as that type of marketing? I assume that's kind of what you're doing with Kraken. And outside of the Ecomi side, how are you personally feeling about it? Because I think you might have Cryptoys. I know Doc does. Are you excited to see competition?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think competition fuels innovation is the reality at the end of the day, right? And I'm happy to see that Cryptoys is still alive and kicking and are working towards some integrations on their end. I've known kind of behind the scenes a bit that was something that was happening for them for a few months now, and so I'm excited that that's finally been announced to the public and that they have something to kind of look forward to. And yeah, I've read definitely a lot of the comments from the community under the Abstract post, and it was a mixed bag, right? I think some people were really excited about this opportunity, and then I think some other people were kind of just saying this is a license of a license, and then other people were saying, well, it's not true self-custody, it's not in an EVM wallet, and so on. You get kind of everywhere along the spectrum. But I think the important thing is that people are now talking. And so I think it allows another touch point to engage users when further rollouts and deliverables happen on kind of the VV stacker side, that as we have this accessibility for the OMI token, people can come in and say, well, why would I want to use it on XYZ? And then you'll have those very clear answers for them, right? And so I don't know the full scope of the rollout for Abstract as it pertains to the collectibles, how they're being minted, and what you'll be able to do with them. I think Cryptoys has done maybe 4 or 5 drops to date. I don't think they've done a ton, but I'm assuming that will kind of ramp up. over time. There's also interesting kind of developments on the Candy Digital DC side with everything that kind of happened with the root network and things that they have going on there. And so that's kind of left a lot of question marks on that side as well. And so, yeah, it's really interesting to see kind of all of that come to fruition. And it'll be interesting to see, even NBA Top Shots and stuff, there's talks about it moving and doing different things. And so I feel like there's a lot of movements right now in the space. And I think in general, my main takeaway is that people are talking about NFTs again. And so I think that's really exciting. What it'll mean at the end of the day for us, we'll have to wait and see. But certainly, like I said, when we look at targeted marketing campaigns, we're taking learning lessons from what other projects are doing, but certainly we're focusing on the things that we're doing and the things that we can control. And so, I think Dr. Profit was on a space earlier today with myself and O'Milly, and he was talking about, some of the things that they're working towards on the Stacker side with their V2 rollout. And so I think, while this Kraken announcement is super exciting so far as accessibility goes, I think for the foundations of the project, some of the things that we will be announcing in kind of the upcoming month or so will actually be more impactful. But what this will allow us to do is facilitate more effective onboarding for users into the ecosystem, and they'll be able to take advantage of these things that are coming, right? So you give people something to talk about, hey, this is what's happening. You give them a place to buy it, and then you blow their mind. And so we're hopefully kind of 2/3 through that process right now. I'm looking forward. That last third is going to be really exciting.
Okay, cool. Doc, what do you got to feel about the Cryptoys news and all that?
I mean, I'm glad that another project I'm in didn't go to zero. So I've made my feelings known a little bit. I still feel jaded by how I was treated as an OG, in that project, buying a lot of stuff. And then they did the buy one, get one, and they didn't do anything for us. And, I said that, but I really like Will. I think Will is awesome. I have a lot of respect for that guy. And it goes to show that, it's tough sledding out there. You know what I mean? But I do like competition. I love the openings that they do, the animations and stuff. And they were saying that there was going to be a game where you could use your Cryptoys and stuff like that. I hope that still comes to pass. So I do want competition, because what it also does is it forces Vivi to look and say, how can we differentiate ourselves, or what can we do? Or maybe we need to look at some of these and things that they're doing, and maybe we adopt some of that as well. And so the more competition there is in this space, it also helps with pricing as well in a lot of ways. Because I've been vocal that I think a lot of the pricing lately on Vivi has not been for me. I'll put it that way. And so, hopefully there's some competition there. So I'm glad. I'm really glad for that. And it'll be interesting to see also with DC. I thought for a time that there was a chance that they might come back to Vivi, with the comics. And I still don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility down the line. But I do remember seeing, didn't we get a DC drop recently? We hadn't had any DC drops in a long time. And I think that did we just get one? Maybe I'm going crazy. It's been a while.
I feel like we did. Maybe I'm tripping.
I have to look back, but I have one thing to say. First of all, Foster, I love you, buddy. I miss you, man. It is really good to see your face. Also, don't like that you're wearing a Vivi shirt instead of an Omi shirt. And where's the Omi merch, bro? Where's the Omi merch, man?
You know what's super funny, actually? I was making Omi merch for this event for myself, non-company merch, right? 4 different times I went on to print this merch from Printful. I was like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to have it for Vegas. It's going to be super dope. I actually think I tweeted out one of the designs one of the days. It was a guy that was on the moon and whatever, just looking over the earth or whatever. I tweeted out on the Akomi account. And that was one of the, I was going to make a graphic tee with that as a super high res image. I'd done all this stuff. And every single time, my kids would need me or my wife needed something or whatever, right? And literally 2 days ago, I was sitting there and I was like, I'm not going to have time to get these printed anymore. So it's unfortunate, but I agree. I think having Omi merch would be super cool. Absolutely. And I would love to see, David and I kind of find a way to incorporate that, whether it be through, and I'm just spitballing, right? There's nothing sensed, but like you spend MCP points, you get something, or maybe if there's only staking tiers, eventually you have, a certain amount, you're entitled to some merch or whatever. Vivi did a really cool thing with the light boxes back in the day. I know some of us have the really cool light here.
Rub it in, bro.
Camera works.
Never got one.
That's messed up, bro. That's a sore spot for Rain and myself. I'm just gonna say.
I'm sorry. Well, you know what? If we do get an Akomi one, you guys will absolutely, without a doubt, be on the list. So you won't have to worry about that. And so we'll just give you Randy's allocation. No, but I agree.
I'm got to give it to Randy. This guy is just a workhorse. I love him so freaking much. Deserves everything good coming his way, man. So
yeah,
I would definitely have Randy get it before me. I got to say that.
Randy
but after Randy, it's me and Rain, bro. From the Comey side, it is definitely me and Ray. I'm just saying.
You guys have been out here doing the Lord's work, and we really appreciate it. It may not be said as often as it should, but it certainly doesn't go unnoticed. And we're very grateful for what you guys do and holding it down week in and week out. And especially when there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, today is an easy episode, right? It's like, hey, we got to win, right? Like, that's easy. But even when there hasn't been a lot to talk about, you guys have always been out there flying the flag, and we got a huge amount of respect for you guys and what you do, and not just as content creators, but as people, right? I've got to know you guys over the years as well. Are all you guys going to Vegas by chance on the side? Or yeah? Well, I mean, I look forward to
the freaking world.
I know. I look forward to seeing you guys there. I hope that the flights aren't impacted at all. I got an email from Porter kind of being like, this might be a little touch and go here, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a good time to celebrate for sure. There's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot that we've talked about. There's a lot that we haven't talked about to look forward to, and so it's always fun to get together with the fam. I didn't make it out to New York this year, and so I'm itching to be able to hang out. I haven't seen everyone since Portugal, and so and I know a lot of the U.S. contingent couldn't necessarily make it out to Portugal, so it's always great to hang out and see how everyone's doing. So
yeah, my
OBL, I heart you, girl.
Yeah, when OBL. Oh my god, I can't wait to get her.
When OBL. Yeah. When freaking OBL, when I see you in real life, like I am massive hug attacking you. I'm just saying. I'm
gonna steal her hair. Oh my god, that big
I know.
Yeah.
hair.
I listen, I get first dibs on her hair, bro. I'm sorry, everyone.
Poor girl. We're just like, hey, we're stealing your head now. We are shaving you bald, OBL. We're coming for you. Never let us.
We're coming for you, girl. You can grow it back. No, one of the things I had to address, it's funny, and I'm going to call out Wes a little bit, who honestly, like in person, I've met Wes. He's a great dude. I love it, right? Wes has made Wes was on a rampage for like several weeks, man. He was not happy with the price and where things were going. And he was making comments about, oh, Doc's not drinking Futter's Tears now, right? And I was like, bro, until Vivi is legit dead, I am drinking Futter's Tears. And the reason is because we have heard for years now, literally years, that Vivi is a rug pull. While the entire time we're seeing other competitors drop and actually not be rug pulls, they just failed, right? Like, and so as long as Vivi's surviving, man, like those Futters are wrong. And like the price can do what it's going to do. Like, to a certain extent, there's not a lot you can do. You can only do the things that you can do, which Vivi and Nakomi are doing, right? But like, so listen, I'm drinking Paul Barron's tears. I was definitely drinking Wes's tears for like 3 weeks. Wes's tears tasted phenomenal. A lot of bitterness in them, which I kind of like, and a little sour there, but loved it, man. And I'm going to continue to drink those Futter's Tears, man, because like what really is happening is that those people got emotional. They threw in too much money, and instead of owning their actions, and listen, were we told that things were going to happen that didn't happen? Yes, we were. That happened. Were we told why some of those things didn't happen? No. So we don't have the full story as to why some of those things didn't happen. Maybe someday we will, maybe we won't, right? But one thing that I learned very early on is to freaking take ownership of my decisions, regardless. And so if people felt misled and they don't like Dan and David, right? And then, but you just leave. But these people, man, their emotions get the best of them. And now they just want to see VV fail, right? So that they can be right, as opposed to just acknowledging and saying, listen, these guys are still going. They just want to see it fail, right? And they're trying to pull as many people away. And anyone like that, I just feel sorry for, because they're not happy in life. Anyone
You're a
who
better man than me.
cannot let go of something and just move on. Guys, I've actually been rug pulled so many freaking times in this space. Like more than half of my investments in these venture capital deals that I did early on in pre-sales, done. They're gone. And some legit rug pulls, right? I know what it means to be rug pulled. And like, you don't see me like out there. Like, there are some teams that I will call out, and I'll call them out like once or twice. And then I'm done. I'm moving on, because there's bigger and better things out there, guys. And all those people, they are missing out. I hope they come back. I hope that they acknowledge and take ownership and be like, yep, I was kind of a punk, and I got emotional when I said some things. And we'll welcome you back with open arms, man, because this is an awesome community. And Vivi is they're still busting their butts. And as we see with this listing with Kraken, the Comey team, like, they're still working in the background, man. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for what's in store. Foster, I appreciate all the positivity. Like, you are so good at handling things in a very professional way. I try to do that. I think sometimes I get a little bit snarky. And that's just me. But look, I gotta give you your flowers, man. Like, a Kraken, a US exchange is a big freaking deal. And I still love the Coinbase thing. But at the end of the day, it's a DEX, and there's not as much liquidity on a DEX. And as there is on an exchange, there's going to be a lot more exchange or liquidity on these exchanges. And yes, there definitely was shots at Wes, but like, I really like Wes, you know. I don't agree with all of his takes, and he doesn't necessarily have to agree with any or all online. But that's the thing in this space, right? Like, the VV fam, Wes is still buying VV collectibles. So as much as he talks crap, dude's still buying Omi. He's still buying collectibles. So guys, listen, I am so sorry. I have to cut this short, but there was something in life tonight that just popped up that was unexpected. I was planning to be here the entire time. I have to go. But I just want to shout out Foster again, man. This is an awesome day. And I'm excited. And regardless of what the price does, this is a really exciting move. And I hope that there's a lot more traction. I expect there actually to be a lot more traction with the Omi token, as there's that marketing, as you're targeting the right audience. And I'm really excited about that, combined with the November 19th switch. I think that this is all, it's like you guys sort of like planned this out or something around this timing and like orchestrated that, or like, you know, maybe not, but it seems that way. But with that, fam, I've got to bounce. I heart you all, and I hope to see as many of you as possible in real life in Vegas in just a couple days. So I've got to bounce with that.
I love you, Doc. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you. Our bae.
Do people think we actually plan things? I don't want to give people the wrong idea here. If people start thinking that we're actually organized, we could be in some trouble. I kind of like the people that were underestimating us, and now they're realizing we have plans. It's like a little.
You're like, let's get those expectations right back down.
Yeah, let's lower. Let's bring that down a couple notches. No, you know what? It's you know, I love Doc. He's a great guy, and I think what I love about all you guys, and you know, I don't think even Randy gets the credit for this that he should personally, but you guys are never afraid to call a spade, and that's what I respect a lot about you guys. Is you're bullish, but you're also not afraid to say how you feel, right? And so when things aren't necessarily going the way that we'd like them to, you can say it. You know what I mean? And I think that that's really a healthy perspective to have, and it's really balanced. And I think for me, it's a little bit more difficult because I have to be less vocal when things aren't going well, because I can't just go out and be like, hey, you know, price sucks right now. This isn't where I want, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the role, right? And so, but I'm a human, you know, I get frustrated too. You know, sometimes when things are going well, but I kind of, I look at, you know, take the introspection, take a moment and kind of go, well, what's the goal? Where are we actually headed? And is what is happening currently indicative of what we bring to the table and what's coming moving forward? And in almost all instances over the last couple of years, it's absolutely been no, right? And I actually love that the vast majority, and you kind of mentioned this earlier in the show, Rain, is I love that the vast majority of people underestimate us, right? Is if everyone just constantly said to the moon and did all this, you kind of be worried, like, are we in a bubble? Like, is like what's going to happen here? Versus for the most part, and like you said, no one saw this Kraken listing coming. And the reason that no one saw this Kraken listing coming is because we play our cards tight to our chest. We set out to underpromise and overdeliver. And when we do deliver, we deliver the things that matter, right? And once again, could have done the fluff thing, could have delivered a bunch of, tier 2, tier 3 exchanges for you guys over the last 6 months or so. But what would that really have accomplished, right? It really wouldn't have accomplished a lot. And so this has opened up some doors to us. And then hopefully the next set of announcements that we have will kind of tie it all back in together. And people will go, okay, you know what? They're moving in the right direction. And whether the price will reflect it or what, I don't know. But all I can tell you is that I sleep easy every night when I go to bed, knowing that I'll wake up in the morning and we'll still be here building, right? And I hope that if people take nothing else away from everything that we do, it's that, hey, these guys are hard workers. They're real people with real faces and real names. I've met them in person or whatever the case may be, interacted with them online, and they're going to keep building. It's not a guarantee of success, right? You could work as hard as you absolutely want, and at the end of the day, things just may not work out, right? Doesn't make it a scam, doesn't make it a rug pull. It just means it wasn't meant to be. I can say with 100% certainty that if this does not work out for one reason or another, it will not be because myself and the rest of the Ecomi team, up to and including David, did everything that we could physically possible to make it work. So that's what gets me excited. That's what gets me up in the morning, gets me motivated, is I look every day. First thing I do when I wake up in the morning, look at socials. What are people saying? How are people doing? Last thing I do when I go to bed, do the same thing. And everywhere in between, I'm doing the same thing. And it's, whether people have good things to say, whether they have bad things to say, whether it's positive feedback, negative, whatever, the fact that people are still talking about us and care enough to have something to say motivates me, because it means that there's a group of people here that still believe in us. And even if they're come out and saying that they don't believe in us, they're still here and are curious enough to see what's going to happen one way or another, that we can keep building and keep delivering. And sooner or later, we'll convert the people back that maybe didn't believe. We'll bring in a lot of people that didn't know about us previously. And at the end of the day, the people that will truly be rewarded are the people that believed in us the whole time, regardless of all the other noise and stuff that was going
on. So does everyone remember about 2 years ago, and there was a major YouTube channel that was covering VV pretty frequently. And then all of a sudden they declared like VV/Omi is dead. And then I saw this response to it by this Foster Hill guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was the most epic takedown I'd ever seen. And prior to that, I didn't know who Foster Hill was. And I thought, whoever this guy is, he's so articulate and witty. His IQ has to be like off the charts. This was so funny. And I was pretty upset with Paul Barron for that. And your epic takedown is what put you on my radar. I was like, I don't know Foster, but I love this guy already. So it's fun, like a couple of years down the road, and you're at Ecomi, which was, they had a strong enough community that it's best when projects can hire talent directly from their community. So they don't have to teach you what Ecomi's all about. You're well aware, because you were an investor first. So it's amazing that they have such good talent. They were able to draw from for some of their positions, and like my Collectibles and you, and the Ecomi community is fun. It attracts good people. This idea of digital collectibles is fun. Paul Barron was wrong. I mean, Paul Barron this is one of the problems with crypto YouTube. I get most of my information from crypto YouTube and a little bit from crypto Twitter. And one of the problems is that it doesn't pay well to talk about things when the price goes south. And I think Paul Barron made a bet on VV because his sentiment indicator said, gosh, they have an abnormally strong community versus everything else, even in a bear market. But then when the price went down, he's like, well, I'm not getting as much traction, and I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to get a sponsorship and couldn't get a sponsorship. And then he flipped to a different digital collectibles brand or a different other brand, and all of a sudden VV was dead, Omi is dead. I think ultimately, everyone's going to see that VV was far from dead. Omi was far from dead. It was just a bear market. Everything's price is down. In fact, many of the companies he then endorsed have since failed. And yet VV has still got the strongest community in the digital collectible space by 10x or 100x their nearest competitors. nobody is putting up the kind of numbers they are. There's every indication that they're going to survive during the bear market into when altcoins finally take off. And yet I think, you know, a major name like him declaring that VV and Omi was dead, it made me upset because brand new people who don't know what's going on, don't know enough to see that that kind of announcement is just ill-informed. And VV was far from dead at that moment. And so he led a bunch of people literally to sell at lows and led them off the cliff. That kind of stuff makes my blood boil. So, you know, some of you know that Dr. and Stuff and I re-recorded a Omi song like a year ago. And we haven't, you know, a few of you may have heard it at one of the things, but at some point we're going to put it to a music video. And at the end, we were having fun playing out in the credits, you know, and we'll probably put a credit to Paul Barron in there being so dead wrong. We'll probably put it to music video when Omi is the opposite end of this. So we've had a good week. Cool. I don't know if next week the price will be up further. Will it be down lower? I don't know. But I think as altcoins really pop off somewhere in their digital collectibles, like you're going to see so much momentum in the digital collectible space. At that point, Omi goes crazy. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, all of us who were here buying low, we can sell to Paul Barron's committee when they come in buying high, and we can thank it for that.
Hell yeah. Foster, we love you, man. We love you so much.
You guys are trouble. I can't comment on anything that you guys say, but you know what? Look, at the end of the day, the cool thing is that everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? And certainly I've had several opinions over the years that have not aged well. And that's the reality, right? And I think, you know, Doc said it earlier in the stream as well, you know, it's cool to have an opinion one way or another, right? But I think a true sign of growth and maturity is being able to turn around and say, you know what, I was wrong, right? And honestly, for all the faults that a lot of people have had, personal attacks a little different, but anyone just being like, oh, Omi's dead, whatever, you know, if they came back and like you said, if they were like, hey, you know what, I was wrong, I'd be like, cool, it's all good. Like, who cares, right? Like, we're adults, like, whatever, right? Like, I had an opinion, I've formed a new opinion based on new information, and I've grown, right? And so that's kind of how I lived my life, right? And so when I first joined the community back in April of 2021, I thought the project was one thing, and I joined based on that notion. Continued to grow, continued to learn, continued to research, learned over time, hey, my perspective needs to change. This might be a little bit different, but the thesis remained, right? And so the outcome didn't align with what I suspected. So then I went back and looked, you know, when you're a scientist, you're doing experiments. Like, what's my hypothesis? I'm going to test it. What's the outcome? It's like, okay, well, no, this was correct, right? Like, it was, the outcome just didn't align with it. Why was that? And then I started looking more, it's all the macro stuff going on. And then, so now we're kind of at the point where I can kind of look at it from the inside out and go, okay, well, we're lining up all the right things. Is it going to jive with everything that else that happens externally? Are NFTs actually going to make a comeback? You know, do we see stimulus go out? Do we see interest rates go down? Do we see clarity in regulations with the Clarity Act and different things that are going on in the market? If we see all of those things, we're very well positioned for what's happening next. If people just decide for whatever reason that all NFTs are a scam and the entire world is never going to touch them again, is it going to be successful? Maybe not, right? And so we control what we can control, and we build what we can build, and we don't worry about everything else. Because the thing is if you're going to sit there the entire time and worry about what may or may not happen with something that's completely outside of your control, you're never going to build efficiently, and you're never going to accomplish anything, because you're constantly worried about things that they eat up your time, they eat up your mind, and you're never going to build anything. And so for us, you know, yes, it's unfortunate that a lot of projects in the space have dropped out over the last couple of years in a bear market, but when you're run by VCs and companies that expect returns very quickly, and that doesn't happen, capital gets pulled out, people lose interest, and then they move on to the next thing, right? You have, that's the main value proposition for me in VV and Ecomi is the founders. And when they went back to a founder-led, for better or for worse, people feeling whatever, that was the most bullish thing for me, right? Is 2021, what got me excited was hearing Dan and David on Spaces and hearing them talk to the community directly. Here's our plans. Here's what we're looking to accomplish. And so I think as they transition more towards that mentality, and they recognize, hey, we don't need to be a corporation that has, all this, VC funding and all that or whatever. It doesn't put a lot of pressure on you because you're not answering to anyone, right? You can take risks, you can build out what you want to build out, and you don't need to, hey, if you don't have a 4x return for this person within the next 3 months, you lose 50% of your funding. And then it's like, oh, what do we do? They don't have to worry about that. They didn't go out and spend way too much money on licenses. They did it a slow, methodical, responsible way so that they can afford licenses and renewals and all these things. They didn't go, hey, we got a bunch of VC funding, we're going to go spend $100 million on licenses, and then not have the content delivery pipeline or the community engagement and interest to actually be able to deliver on that. And that's why, when I look at a project like VV Nakomi, it's not how much money did they raise? Is that an indication of whether they're going to be successful? It's what are they doing every single day? And what have they been doing every single day for the past couple of years? And is that an indication of future success? And so, is it at the end of the day? Maybe not. But if I'm going to bet on someone, I'm going to bet on someone that is waking up from the moment they get up to the moment they go to bed, working as hard as they possibly can. And to me, that's David Yu, right? And I try and emulate that through myself because I look up to him and I've always had a lot of respect for him. And there's a lot of community members that do the same. Like, look at you guys hosting a show once a week. Randy doing shows every single night. You have people like O'Milly on the Twitter side who are doing spaces every single day. You have people like VV Viral who are constantly bull posting, right? Like, no one's getting paid to do that, despite what people believe, right? Like, I'm not giving Randy money under the table to be like, hey, you need to go say nice. Like, they're doing this on their own because they believe in something. And so, what excuse does anyone else have? Like, if someone else can be that passionate about something, it's like, hey, maybe this is worth looking into. And so that's what motivates me is I don't have an excuse when we have people like you guys in the community and everyone that's hanging out with us tonight. I mean, it's a weeknight at 9 p.m. and look at all the people we have in the chat right now, interacting, engaging, sharing their thoughts and stuff. You won't find that in any other community. It's incredible.
325 for all of the X's and YouTubes added up. I do it because every now and then Foster tells me he loves me, and that's enough.
And he's hoping one day I will do a bathtub stream with him.
We have the opportunity to do that in Vegas. Taps did it with me, so you
did do it with you. I mean, my wife's gonna be there, so like
I'll get her permission. All right, I feel like you're using that as an excuse.
Is she gonna sit on the toilet seat and watch? Like,
yeah, she can sign the consent, the waiver.
Yeah, exactly, the release forms. Yeah.
Foster, I know you got to bounce. Anything you want to say to everyone before you hightail it out of here, and anything about Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, look, stay tuned, guys, right? I mean, obviously, this was a very exciting day. This is obviously the first announcement of a wider rollout when it comes to the exchange listing. I know kind of one of the main questions from people is, when is the token listing itself going live? Of course, this was obviously the adding of the token to their official roadmap, indicating that they will be listing the token. The reason for that, just in case people are curious as to why they do that, because Kraken is regulatory compliant, a part of their disclosure process is listing tokens on the roadmap prior to listing so that everyone is aware of their intentions as to what they are doing. And so one of the things that we're waiting on right now is there's a 20-day period where your MiCA compliance documents are essentially, they've been submitted, they've been accepted, but you need to wait 20 business days before you can proceed with listings in the European Economic Zone. So when we look at that, that's kind of the main thing that's holding us back right now. And realistically, we could list on the US side tomorrow, right? We could just say, yeah, go ahead. But the thing is if we're going to do a rollout and we're going to do marketing, we're only going to get a chance to do it once. And so it doesn't really make sense to do it and then just kind of be like, oh, hey, the other half of the world, we just added you on a couple of weeks later. Like, haha, like when we're going to do it, we're going to do it once, we're going to do it right. And one of the things that we haven't touched on is the full scope of the listing, right? There's going to be multiple pairings. There's going to be perpetual listing. There's going to be a ton of things that are coming beyond just, hey, Omi's on Kraken, right? And so there's a lot of really cool things coming. There may be multiple network support and different things that are coming for the token as well. So, yeah, I mean, stay tuned. We'll obviously release more information as it comes to pass. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, there'll be 7 days of marketing activity prior to that. will be listed on the Kraken website. They'll be putting it out on their socials. We'll be doing spaces. We'll be doing Discord stuff. All of that stuff to really try and bring in more users into the platform. Of course, as I mentioned earlier as well, we were looking to have this coincide a little bit closer to the Only to Gem rollout on November 19th, but just due to some delays with the regulator, it's going to happen probably early in December instead. So it'll get pushed back by a couple of weeks. Not the end of the world. Still something to super look forward to. And so, I think around that time as well, we'll likely have some other announcements for the token and some of the direction that Stacker's looking to move towards for their V2 release and some of the impacts that it will have on the wider VV ecosystem as well. So, I'm really excited for the rest of 2025. I think these next 2 months or so are going to be jam-packed with announcements and information. I wouldn't expect everything that we're working on to roll out in that period, but certainly it's going to become abundantly clear to users the exact direction that we're headed. And I think for the first time in a few years, users are going to have that kind of full scope and clarity as to the direction that we're headed. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to sharing that information with the community as we get closer to those. Obviously, I'll be doing a lot of spaces and different things to get information out there. So, stay tuned. We're still going to be pursuing more exchange listings to further accessibility, working on DEX liquidity to make sure that users have more access to funds, whether it be through the Coinbase DEX or going through Uniswap directly. And overall, I'm just really excited to be able to come out to Vegas this week and celebrate the 5th anniversary of both VV and then, of course, the token that powers the world, where the world collects. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure a lot of you guys that are in the chat right now are going to be attending. If you've never attended a VV event before, this is, definitely one that you'll want to be at. And it's exciting. Like I said, you don't get days like this every day. So you try and, bring it in. I took my family out to dinner tonight. I said, today's the day for celebration, regardless of what the price does. But, this was something that I specifically have worked on quite a bit internally for a long time. And so, it's cool to be able to celebrate these things. So.
Thank you so much, Foster. Thanks for coming on. I can't wait to see you soon.
We love you, Foster.
Love you guys. We'll see you again soon.
All right.
What a bay. We have like 2 more hours worth of stuff. We want to go over it.
Real quick, let's get to Kyle's super chat.
Yes.
I want to wait till after our guest was gone before addressing. Well, government opening.
I do have something to add to that.
Yes.
As the government opens. So China suspends tariffs on U.S. imports for a year. The government is reopening. There are $2,000 tariff checks that we're going to get next year. There's going to be more rate cuts, the end of quantitative tightening, all things very bullish for markets. So maybe instead of mooning in Q4, like you had predicted, which could still very much happen, there's still half of Q4 left. Maybe we have a blow off top in Q1 and then alt season in Q2 and beyond, or do we start now? And then his super chat, obviously, government opening starts the bull run.
Well, I think it starts Bitcoin running some more. I think November and December are positive for crypto, but I don't think that's when the massive moon is. I think the massive moon happens next year. Q1 or Q2 is my best guess. But we'll have to see how November, December are. Like November started out really, really down. But like all signals are, all lights are green as you're looking like down the path. Like all these things are mega, mega bullish for crypto to go absolutely crazy. So all the lights are green. We'll just see how fast this vehicle moves with all those green lights, because all these hurdles in the way are being cleared already. So it's going to be quite the ride. It may not feel like it now just because you're still in like shock from the past like 3.5 years, but literally like 92 to 94% of the time in crypto, like you're dealing with disappointment, varying levels of disappointment. And about 6% is complete euphoria. But like the gains don't last all that long, but they go so massively up. That's where the gains are made. So you have to buy in this like dysphoria when it's terrible and it's horrible, because that's what buying low looks and feels like. And you buy low just to have it go lower on you, and then you buy some more, and then it goes lower on you again. And you're like, oh my gosh. That's what buying low feels like. And unless you have a magic crystal ball, you can see the exact bottom. You know exactly what day to pull the trigger. I still haven't found one of those. So I have to deal with this disappointment that I buy low and then it goes lower. And I buy low and it goes lower. And I buy low and it goes lower. And that's cool because I'm doing this thing called dollar cost averaging at low prices. And then on the flip side, I dollar cost average out when price goes into euphoria, which is only 6% of the time. Goes absolutely nuts. And you wake up and you check your wallet first thing. You'll know when you're there because you will not go 10 minutes without checking your portfolio value. That's the environment that you're selling in. Not this stuff. Like, not yet. Like, cool. Okay, it went up, 2x from 5 days ago or 6 days ago. That's amazing. That's not what we're waiting for. That's not sell time. That's crap. It's not as cheap. Darn it. Sell time is sometime down the future when it's gone 20x from here. This is when, I'll start taking profits, and then when it goes higher multiples. So when Paul Barron's audience starts putting OMI on their radar again, that's when I'll be selling.
Same. We have Rising Star Larry, who is just at Wicked Collector Expo in South Carolina, getting people to download the app. And maybe this is what we need more of. Just people at events, just in a boots on the ground situation. Access to the token is easy now. I think all of the pillars are formed. We have our base. Then I think the most important thing that we might need moving forward, because again, the token seems to be well taken care of, is just active users. Do you think that might be the way to do it? Do you think is there something that we haven't thought of? Is it like Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans? Like, yep, we have these 6 plays. They'll work eventually. Just keep running them. Or do we need something different?
I missed the beginning of that question. Say that again.
Rising Star Larry he's been in South Carolina this past week at Collector Expo, and he's getting people to sign up at these physical events. And it's not even like a Comi at Portugal where they were giving people 100,000 OMI. He's just like saying like, hey, look at this cool Spider-Man, look at this cool whatever. And he's getting people to sign up. Are they spending money right away? I don't know. Are they probably going to get at one collectible? Sure. And what's the cost of getting these people on there? A couple dollars. I told Michelle Ivy I'd get her her Michelangelo for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when it comes out. That might be like $40, and then what? Then she's a customer for life because she cannot help herself when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja. What? Why do drug dealers give a little sample, free sample the first time to hook you, so you get a customer for life? Why did Marlboro what do you call it? Advertise to kids with Joe Cool to hook them for life. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
So when Randy's going on a first date with some girl and she's like, what do you do for a living? And she's like, I get people hooked on drugs. It's like, well, what drugs? Well, I mean, digital collectibles on the VV app, but they're like drugs. And I get people started and then they can't stop buying them. It's the best thing ever.
Cosmo, I feel like you need some context here. I have a very specific set of skills when it comes to girls, and it's getting them hooked on digital collectibles. I don't know. Anyway, Crypto Cosmo, thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna repost this on X to announce your arrival. How you doing, brother?
Oh, we don't have audio from you.
You're on mute. It's like you have peanut butter in your mouth and you can't. Yeah.
We're not hearing your audio.
He might need to put in the AirPods, or he might need to leave and come back. Yep, only be up. We think we had 2.5 million in volume yesterday. So if let's say it's 2.5 million in volume on average, and we have 6.14, so we're looking at another 3.75 million in volume over here, just in the last, I don't know, 10 hours. I don't know when we announced this. How you doing, Cosmo? Nope. He said, dang it.
Yeah. Now?
Oh, I heard something.
Nothing?
Yeah, we heard you.
You hear now?
Yeah, there's a delay and low audio quality, but we heard you.
Okay, somehow it's connecting to my phone and
There we go.
Audio quality right there. Okay, we're good.
It's better?
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay.
What's up, guys?
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Shoot, let's go.
So Randy, we were just talking about how Randy's got to declare to girls on a first date that he's a drug dealer, specifically digital collectibles drug that once they get hooked, they can't stop. And what's funny is like collectibles, right? They're so freaking cool. And this idea of digital collectibles is a new idea. So the marketplace for collectibles, the digital collectibles, I think in the future is going to be absolutely huge. And VV's leading that, and still the awareness is so low. But I mean, these things are really cool. And they're not fully integrated like all the ways they will be integrated into our lives in the future. I think a lot of that is coming, but we're still very early days. And so Randy's just helping people get started on drugs.
Okay. Well, I guess digital collectibles are a drug. Well, shoot, you know,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, drugs, like same thing, right? Like, hey, if you get the VV app, I'll get you a Michelangelo. Okay, I'm hooked.
It's like Kesha said in 2010, your love is my drug. Okay, well, what do you love? If you love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you love Marvel, like we got it. We got everything. Smorgasbord over here.
dude, it's true though, man. There is so much good IP on the app. It's awesome.
So much good IP. And like, of course, people are going to collect these. It's just the awareness of collectors towards digital is still low. But what's funny is when price goes massively up, like I was listening to this person talk about normal adoption curves. He's like, normally adoption curves are quite slow. People hate change. They won't put effort in. But with crypto, because there's this expectation of, or hope for gains, when the price is going massively up, you see all these people come in, be super willing to go through harder learning curves because of that. And we saw that in 2017. We saw that in 2021. I think we'll see that again starting somewhat soon for some of the altcoins, but then into next year, as it cycles through some different narratives and really, really hits, that people will be like, what? Oh my gosh, what'd the numbers go to? We saw that some in early 2022 as well for digital collectibles, right? People were like, wait, how do I get the VV app? And we saw that mid 2021 when Disney got started and people were trying to figure out how to buy Disney collectibles, and every drop, if you could land it for these good drops, was almost like minting money. I think we'll see that again, where like if you got the partner statue for $400, you could turn around and flip it that same day for like $1,200. I think we'll see some of that again.
Agreed. Cosmo, there's a something I wanted to ask you, because you have an amazing moonbird up there, a little crown.
Yeah.
As of November 6th, or on November 6th, 24 hours prior to 3:44 p.m., as far as sales go, 29 Pudgy Penguins, 2 CryptoPunks, 11 Bored Apes. Make your way down to there. 38,000 Far World NFTs, so I think that's got to be a little manipulated. And then you have 24 sales of moonbirds. Do you know of, and obviously VV NFTs go blow these out of the water because they have insane amounts of trading every day. What is it like in the other Telegram groups? What's it like in the other communities? Are they, obviously we're higher than we were in the other places than we were in April, but we're lower from the highs when ETH was at like 5K.
Yeah. So just like, what's the sentiment in their groups right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like for moonbirds, I mean, there's pretty high sentiment overall. Like people are really, really excited about the continuous releases that the founders are doing. There's a guy named Spencer on X that bought moonbirds like 4 months ago from Bored Ape Yacht Club, and he's really taken the helm. He was one of the biggest owners of moonbird NFTs for a while, and he was the largest Pudgy Penguins holder for a while as well. So he's very well connected to Pudgy Penguins team. Anyways, he's just been releasing updates week in and week out, and they're shipping merch, they're releasing products, they're raising money, and they're doing a lot of things that a lot of NFT projects aren't doing right now. So anyways, pretty bullish, the community at large with what they're doing. And there's a lot of good things coming. They put out a tweet today linking a possible McDonald's partnership, like how Doodles did. They did a McRib post and used like the McDonald's logo on it. I was like, I don't think they'd be doing that if they didn't have something really cooking with McDonald's. I don't know exactly, but has people wondering.
there's a lot of I speculated about this with banks years ago, and some of it has happened, is that they're just all going to merge. Eventually, one will get bought up by the other, and you see that a little bit with the Cryptoys announcement. I don't know if they got bought by Pudgy Penguins or Abstract, but they do have a big partnership there, and they didn't have revenues for a while, so I assume something's going on. We're not 100% sure yet, but Funko just announced that they will not make it another year. And I was wondering why we didn't have any more Funko collabs with them, because that did amazingly a few years ago with Marvel and Iron Man. Do you think it makes sense for VV to go on and acquire something like a Cryptoys, or Funko's probably too big, but or do you think like, hey, it's just easier just back the IP up from those specific platforms, and then we just use the IP instead of buying their?
I mean, I don't think it makes sense for them to buy Cryptoys so much, like with the direction that they're taking. But I certainly thought about the IP that Recur had, and it seems like we've got Ninja Turtles, which I think Recur had mentioned maybe that they had Ninja Turtles coming. Probably. Is that right?
I know when I asked David a few years ago, he said that we're already working on it. So I think there might be what's known as a cooling off period. They had this when Disney acquired Marvel. There was a bunch of characters they couldn't use from Netflix, like Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, because there was that like cooling off period. So I think the same thing is happening with digital collectibles. Like that's why you didn't have any Nickelodeon NFTs until, or Paramount NFTs until recently. So I think there's going to be, we're probably going to get most of the stuff that Recur had.
Yeah. So that one's one, and then obviously Candy.io, like their DC comics would be epic. So I hope something's in the works there. And then, to be honest, I got a chance, a phenomenal opportunity, like when I was in Lisbon for the NFT conference there, to ride with Dr. Stuff and Dan and David in a couple Uber rides to and from events. And I was totally telling them, I was like, I would love to see some sort of collaboration with Moonbirds. So I totally put that plug out there. I was like, Moonbirds is like a dominant IP in like the Web3 space NFTs. They really made a splash. Like Bored Ape Yacht Club was probably the king, CryptoPunks, but Moonbirds made one heck of a splash. They had $120,000 floor at one point. I mean, they were very, very well known and still are. And so I was like, I would love to see a Moonbirds collab. I don't think they took it very seriously, but I shot my shot.
Yeah, I mean, one day we might. We'll see.
Sometimes it takes 7 different touches for somebody to open their mind to a new experience. So that was one of 7.
Yeah. You mentioned Candy. So I had this guy, Derek Snook, on recently, and he actually mentioned Rain, because he's seen your videos. He's new to digital collecting. He liked baseball when he was younger, and he's thinking the same things that we thought as soon as we got in. Be like, wow, this is like, we need like a one-stop shop for all these things, interoperability, because he just got into Candy because they have MLB. And he's like, they have Stranger Things on here too. They have all these, and he got all the Otanis, because like, well, the physical Otanis are like, they're crazy, and the digital ones, they're like not crazy. Like some of them are. I think one of them was like 100K that at the top, and now it's like 5K. So like he just bought it, and he bought like most of the Otanis out there. Came in and just swooped in and bought them all. I was like, you should talk to Rain about the, because he looks at Dapper Labs, looking at NBA Top Shots, looking at all of that. But same thing, you mentioned Candy Cosmo before. Would that be possible to get one IP and then another? Let's say we can get their DC Comics, and then Dapper Labs gets MLB, and then someone else gets Stranger Things.
Yeah, I mean, Candy could structure it however they're able to, right? Like they could sell off a certain IP, I'm sure. I don't know. It just depends on the agreements they've got with those IP as well, and what they have cooking. But I would think it's not impossible. So we'll see.
Rain, he mentioned interoperability. It seems that there's probably a few people working on that. Do you think it'll be whoever's first to market for interoperability? First one takes the cake and they win it, or is it actually going to be harder for the first person and easier for the second and third and so on before that, the other companies that follow?
So I was talking to a really good interview behind the scenes with OneChain's team. We were talking about interoperability, which is one of the things that they do. Right? And one of the challenges is like, do most people coming into crypto really care about interoperability? No, the OGs of crypto care about interoperability. Like at the end of the day, it's a little bit frustrating that they're in multiple platforms. Down the road, they probably won't have to think about it. There will be one wallet or whatever that can interact with all these different things. But for now, people don't care. They'll come in and when things go crazy, they will come in for the IP that they're looking for. Whatever site they have to go to participate in that, they'll go to that. So the true winner, like OneChain's doing some really cool things. I love that talk with them. I was like, you guys continue to blow my mind with what you're working on, and I love that you are. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to care like what they hold things on. They just want it simple. And one of the things Vivi did right is they made it simple. Because how fast does it take to onboard somebody to Vivi? It's so fast. Oh, give me your phone. Okay, download the Vivi app. Enter it in, bam, they can be buying collectibles pretty fast, like almost right away. And so that is the most important thing. So would it be nice if your wallet was interoperable between Vivi and your other NFTs? Yeah, it would be nice. Is it necessary? No. Down the road, that'll be easier to happen. Right now, it's not quite there. A lot of technology and a lot of things are being done behind the scenes with different companies to make it easier for one wallet to rule them all. But for now, that's not the case. And it doesn't matter that it's not. And it doesn't matter near as much as people think it does that Vivi isn't interoperable with regular wallets. It doesn't matter. You have a global marketplace that somebody can get on the Vivi app, and it's now interoperable with Dr. Profit site Stacker, and so that you can sell to OMI, and your OMI you can then off ramp pretty easy. So like it's good. You can sell it for gems on the marketplace, or you can sell it for OMI. Great. That's cool. Like,
well, listen to this. This was interesting. So just a few days ago, somebody had posted, like in my Moonbirds community, a tweet where he was like, here's my IP for this cycle, what you got or whatever. And he posted the Moonbirds. He posted another project called Clanosaurs. I don't know much about them, but they've gotten some nice Web 2 partnerships going, it sounds like. And then one other one that I didn't recognize. And so I posted underneath that, like a picture of like Marvel Comics, Star Wars, and like 4 other brands that are on Vivi, right? And I was like, I got Moonbirds and I got all these from Vivi. And like he responds, he's like, oh man, I got to check this out. And so I didn't hear back from him, but he commented on that. I'm like, more and more, all of these quote unquote strictly Web3 IPs that have been so well respected in the Web3 community are all doing what Vivi's been doing for years, which is they're getting real brand, high level IP partnerships, and they're doing it better than everybody else, almost like everybody else combined, literally, with how many companies they have partnerships with. You have Bored Ape that just has a few partnerships with big, well-known brands. Moonbird's got a couple that they're kind of working on. And then a few others out there have some, like Doodles did with McDonald's. That was a big one, and I respect that. And they've had a few other big ones. But like Vivi, they've just got IP lined up all over the place, and they're continuing to roll it out. It's impressive. So it's just funny to see all of these true NFTs, according to the Web3 crowd, all of a sudden like pivoting and doing a lot of what Vivi's doing, which is making Web2 partnerships. They're even making physical collectibles, which is what Vivi's been doing now for a while. Like Moonbirds, they just started doing some merch, and they're building their own Moonbirds physical collectible, which nobody knows what it looks like yet. But I'm like, dude, Vivi has been doing these things. They have been way ahead of the game, and that's one thing I love about Vivi.
Yeah. It is funny, the level of their IP versus all these Web3 projects level of IP, like they're not even close. Like Vivi has the best IP partnerships out there. They crush everybody else.
There was, I think it was Pudgy Penguins that announced that they had a collab with like Kung Fu Panda. And everyone was going like, bro, this is amazing. As like, oh, we already have it on our And don't get me wrong, that is great. Like I'm curious to see what they do. And like, yeah, a penguin and a panda, the double P over there, and they got, yeah, it seems fun. That they might have some cute plushies, maybe a game. But yeah, it's like they're excited about this one thing, and we have that plus 250 others. It's almost not fair. And I honestly believe that at some point within the next decade, VV gets put like on trial or whatever for having a monopoly, and they're like, you have too much IP. This is not fair. Any new company that wants to go in, they can. Like, how do you compete with VV? There's no, like, very, very hard. And VV's only going to get better.
Yeah, it's funny, and it's good that they do have some competitors, but you're right, that might be a problem because they might be the go-to app for digital collecting. Now, in an environment where most of people have stuck around are Web3 fanatics, it's not surprising that people look for, like, they go for, like, well, VV's not a true NFT because it's only on their thing and it doesn't it's not interoperable with MetaMask, so it's not a true collectible like NFT and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about digital collectibles. When crypto goes crazy, you have massive new people coming in. And they're not going to care about the whole NFT debate at all. They'll be like, what the hell's the difference? And somebody will go into this long explanation and they'll be like, on Charlie Brown, when the teacher is talking, all I hear is, wah, 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 wah. That's all they'll understand about what the person is talking about. And they'll be like, yeah, but where can I buy Batman? Oh, well, pretty much just on, like, go to the VV app. But it's not a true NFT. And they're like, okay, as they buy Batman, right? Like, they won't care about that argument. Like, it's the purists, right? It's the Bitcoin maxis that are trying to make the argument against why ETH would never survive. And it's not Bitcoin, and it was never meant to be Bitcoin. It's a different thing. And so a digital collectible, you can come in, whether it's interoperable or not, like most people coming in that environment, they'll just be looking for the IP that they're interested in. It works in augmented reality on VV's app better than any of these other things. And that's what they're going to care about. They're not going to care about, like, what is the mechanisms behind the scene? Is it a true NFT or not? They won't care. They'll be like, oh, I have one app that have access to over half the cool brands I really like and the Marvel comics. Well, that's amazing. Cool. No, you shouldn't use that. You should go to this one website, and then we have to get you a MetaMask wallet, and then you need to write down your passcodes, and you need to do this, and then you got to send money into Coinbase, and then you got to send it by ETH with it, and then you got to send over this, and they'll be like, oh, can I just buy this on the VV app? It says 10 gems. Isn't that $10? Okay. The simplicity is amazing, and simple is important. That's why VV crushed it in 2021, is all these new people are coming in. That's why VV, like Omi, the token did amazing. The VV app did incredible sales numbers. It's because the simplicity. And the simplicity is the key. Like, if I were telling a new competitor coming in, what should they do? I would tell them to do the same thing. And it won't matter if they're an NFT or whatever. If you can go in the app and you can easily buy it and you can look in it in augmented reality and play with it that way, and people can just log in the app and within a minute or two be buying something. Perfect, because NFTs can't give you that. Like, imagine trying to walk a brand new person through buying a Moonbird. Well, you're looking into a day and a half worth of work with them to, like, how to secure your number and, like, how to get a Coinbase account and transfer money in and then wait, and then, oh my gosh.
Cosmo, I know you have to bounce. Before you bounce, Tesla shareholders approved Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package. Should VV have something like that with David Yu if they ever go public? So, like, yeah.
Oh, shoot. I mean, I'm all about Elon's pay package. I think the value, like, he can't get paid unless he brings the value to everybody else that's involved. So I'm like, dude, give the guy the incentive to go provide value for so many other people. I'm totally down if there's a way to structure some sort of comp plan where David gets paid when he provides a ton of other value for everybody else. Yeah, I'm all about stuff like that. So I'd be down.
Fuck yeah. Thank you. I want to get that. I can't wait to see it. What day are you getting to Vegas?
Oh yeah, dude. Me and my wife are gonna be there. We're heading out tomorrow. We're just gonna take a day to kind of chill, do our own thing, a day or two, and then I'm looking forward to seeing everybody that's gonna be out there. We're gonna have a blast. Cannot wait to see both of you. It's gonna be an awesome time. Can't wait.
I can't wait to see you. It's been so long.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
It's gonna be
Work
good.
on your karaoke game.
Yeah, not strong in the karaoke game, but we're gonna have a blast.
Awesome. I love
Yeah.
you, Cosmo. Appreciate it.
See you, gents.
We had some confusion this week on Omi to Gem because there was a picture that was leaked where it shows that like, oh, there's going to be a 10% fee. And then people were like, yeah, see, VV nickel and diamond us everywhere. They're trying to, and it was leaked from somebody that's just a known fudder hater without any context at all. So Foster cleared it up saying, hey fam, as we approach the rollout of Omi to Gem on 19 November, here's what it's going to be. While we will be releasing an article covering all of this in detail, it appears that the screenshot was leaked without context. First and foremost, there is no fee paid by the user for utilizing Omi to Gem. If you spend $100 to get it, you will receive 100 gems. You don't pay $110 worth of Omi to buy 100 gems, nor do you receive 90 gems for spending $100 worth of Omi. The section labeled fee is a combination of Omi burn and tokens to be held by Stacker for business operations. We look forward to providing more information as we get closer to the rollout of this next utility for the Omi token. I just figured I'd go over that. Did you have anything to add with that, whether it be for the Fudders or Fosters? Quick response.
Well, funny conversation my wife and I were talking about this last week. My wife has been on a fitness journey, and if you see the befores and after, and she was always gorgeous, but anyone who's seen her on stream, like, she's quite stunning. And she gets haters, and she's like, I just don't know why people are like that. And I'm like, if you don't have haters, then you're not accomplishing anything. Now, I don't know why some people have to hate on somebody that's doing well in their life, but there are those. And so, like, Vivi and Omi have a bunch of fudders/haters that, like, they're always looking for a reason to try to take it down or, like, just be angry. And why don't they move on and do something else? Well, I don't know. Like, they're stuck in whatever toxic environment that they're in and just angry at the world instead of building a better place for themselves. So what I've learned in life is if you don't have haters, then you're not accomplishing anything yet. So work hard enough in your life so that you have lots of haters. Because otherwise, that's a sign that you need to work harder.
Hell yeah. In video games, you're going the right direction when you encounter enemies. So same like in life.
Yeah. I was thinking about IP when we were talking about that. You know what IP I'd love to see them have? Halo. I mean, I made you watch that series with me, right?
That was great. That was awesome. They come out with season 2 of that?
Yeah, there's 2 seasons.
Ooh.
So, no, I think we watched season 2. So, like a year ago, I went and saw Randy.
We saw season 1, though, didn't we?
Season 1 and 2.
Oh, we did season.
Yeah, and so then they didn't recommit to a 3rd season, and so that was years ago. So right now, like, nobody's built the 3rd season, and they kind of leave you hanging. And I'm like, no. They absolutely hit it out of the park with that. If you grew up on Halo, so, while I was at the university, like, Xbox came out and Halo, and they just hit it out of the park. I'd never seen a video game like that, and it was so fun. I used to wire it up with friends. Dr. Stuff and Cosmo and I even had some tournaments with a bunch of other people. We would put it on the network, and we would have multiple TVs and stuff going. We had a friend that had a really big house, and that whole house was wired for internet. It was amazing, and so we could go there and hook it up to TVs in different rooms and play. It was amazing times. And so I grew up on Halo, and I would love to see them have augmented reality, like Master Chiefs and some of the elite soldiers and the sword.
So what? This is a kid that this is a LAN party in like the late 90s, and they didn't have enough room for him to sit, so they taped him to the ceiling in one of their LAN parties. So
That's
yeah,
fun.
one of my favorite photos. On my Facebook memories, at some point this week, on this day, at some point this week in 2012, a good 5% of my friends did not vote because they were playing Halo 4, and they were just like, I'm not voting. Like Halo 4 is coming out today. Were you one of those people that did not vote because Halo 4 came out?
I don't. That was a weird time in my relationship burning to the ground. I was married in this amazing marriage that absolutely burned to the ground, like ashes. The ashes burned into more ashes, and culminated in the divorce finalizing in 2012. So I don't think Halo 4 was quite what I expected either. Halo 1, really good. Halo 2, amazing. And then they kind of like some of the other Halos, like they're all right. But so Halo 4, no.
Foster said in December we'll be able to have Omi on Kraken. We have a Truck and Hang saying, Rain, do you remember Roger Ramjet? Randy, Roger is your people. I don't know who that is.
Roger Ramjet. Let me ask Grok. I don't remember.
I'm not sure who it is either, but I will support if anyone remembers. Anyway, while you look that up, I'll go to the next topic we have. I guess we already went over the fudders. All right, so people get hacked a lot. My friend Jin got hacked this week. Comics and Crypto got hacked this week. I understand the bear market. It's like, hey, my bag's worth nothing anyway. Doesn't matter. But now that the bull market is very much on its way, you're going to get emails. People are going to get like links. Like once somebody gets hacked, they go to all their recent messages. They see who has the most followers, who has the most influence, and they'll send out links like, hey, I'm in a meeting with someone right now. I need, you got to meet these people. And they send you a link to something that's not legit, and you download something, and then they steal your funds. It hacks your wallet. Now it's got to be super anal for like the next 12 months and not. So if I ever send you something, anyone on X, no, I didn't. It is not a real thing.
Yeah, I love it. No, I didn't actually send it.
Rand, you got anything to add?
No. Fun day, sad in a lot of ways. Like those prices right close to quadruple zeros. Like I love good prices. And I guess just some context. So some of the audience can tune this out because they're not here for life-changing gains. Like if you're in the crypto space because you're here for like life-changing gains, this is for you. For those that are just here for VV collectibles and buy some stuff, like tune out this part. So one of the key principles that so many people get wrong is this idea of buy low and sell high. And you've seen a lot for the past like 2.5, 3 years, what low looks like. And unfortunately, it looks like you buy low and then it does go lower and then it goes lower on you and again and lower on you again. You haven't seen the 6% of the time when the prices go absolutely crazy. And I don't know whether that, like, I suspect we're going to see a little bit of that in November and December. I suspect we'll see most of that next year, probably mid next year, maybe first quarter next year. And prices go absolutely berserk in the crypto space. And like you'll wake up and your portfolio value will be up like 2x what it was when you went to bed. And you'll be like, oh my gosh. Well, I came into crypto because of volatility, and the volatility is painful because you buy low and it does go down. But when you experience the other side is when life-changing gains happen. And why I was attracted to Ecomi comes down to this idea that we're really just investing in the Web3 space. And this space has a lot of confusion in it. There's these things called meme coins, and there's all this, what I would call crap out there in the crypto space, a lot of legitimate rug pulls where there's not really a legitimate company. They throw out this idea and they're pretending to have a company, but their whole plan is just to take all the money that they get launching the project and then pull the rug out from under you. And there's a metric ton of failures in this early startup business. And so when people are like, Omi is a failure, Omi is a slow rug pull, I like to be very specific about the terms I use. So, for example, if some of the competitors of VV don't survive, don't use the term rug pull, because if you can properly use language to identify the reason that it collapsed and went to zero, it helps you learn, because you're here to make millions of dollars, I hope. And in order for you to make millions of dollars, you have to learn correct lessons. So say OMI did fail, then it's like, well, why did it fail? Oh, the founders were in a plane crash that crashed into the ground, like all of the 7 most important people, and the company couldn't survive that. It's like, well, shoot, I learned a lesson that there's this risk called plane failure, that if all the founders probably tank the project that I'm invested in. Versus like a rug pull, which is like, oh, it had anonymous team, anonymous founders who raised a bunch of capital and then disappeared in the middle of the night. Okay, so rug pull was like, well, that was probably a scam from the beginning. So you learn to identify over time what is a good business to invest in, or what is a good risk, because still risk. Like, will OMI ultimately make it? Yeah, probably, but it's not guaranteed. But I can say behind it, we know who the people are behind it. They do have a product out there that you can buy things that are landing the biggest licenses in the crypto space. And consistently, they keep landing more. And so you have this opportunity to buy these digital collectibles. Will digital collectibles become a really big thing? I think so. I think it's going to be a huge, massive thing. VV is the leading provider in there. So if ultimately you've been buying OMI cheap and it goes way expensive, hopefully you learn the lesson of selling while it's high. And then we'll probably have some volatility after that. The prices will come back down. And hopefully from this past 4 years, you've learned a lot of lessons about good investments, good risk versus bad risk. So during that bear market, if we have a massive upside like this, what follows this is always this. Then the cycle will repeat. And hopefully you had the last 4 years where you learned amazing lessons. You can take some of those lessons and hopefully some of the gains that you've made and roll that in, make some really good choices so that you get money out of your way in life, so that you can really do what it is you're really passionate about. Because money doesn't make you happy, but it does give you tons of options in your life. And it allows you to prioritize differently than you can when you don't have any money.
Things are so much easier with money. And I don't get me wrong, I like hard work. I like hard video games. I like things that are hard because it makes me feel like I've done something. But I don't like my entire life to be hard. I like to struggle when I choose to. And then for the rest of everything, it's just there's someone that I used to know that we're just randomly one of those conversations. Hey, what would you do if you won the lotto? I was like, oh, and she's like, nah, I'd still work a few days a week. And it's like, okay, you clearly have not had money before, because there's so much stuff to do when you do, and it's and building stuff is fun. Like I'll always still build. I'll always still write for Decat. I'll always still do shows. As long as it's fun, I'll still do it. Rain, you mentioned to your audience that you would be making videos through what year again?
Well, so I'll still be making videos, but the nature of it's going to change. And so right now I have a private community that you have to join Patreon to get access to the Discord. In the future, we'll have it where you can join directly on Discord without having to go through a Patreon link. So it just cuts out a step. But I'll still be covering like undervalued things and stuff, but only in my private community. The public thing will be more showy. Like this time when I take profits, I'm going to put a lot into a different type of investment. They're more marketing assets. So I'm going to buy some flashy cars, and I'm going to buy some other things and show, I guess, the kind of options that people are looking for in their life, in order to help people essentially learn to eat their vegetables. So what I've been preaching for the last 4 years on the channel is eat your vegetables. What I realized is most people coming into YouTube, they just want the candy. And it's like, they want the results of eating your vegetables, but they just want the candy. So they want you to cover like what token is way up. So for example, recently, some of the privacy coins have been going crazy. So Zcash has been going crazy. And if I release videos on Zcash that is 10x up, I would get a lot more traction than releasing something that the price has gone down and it's even cheaper. But for my audience sake, if I help my audience understand or identify massively underpriced coins before they pump, I'm doing a much better benefit from them, kind of like getting people to eat vegetables rather than the candy. So covering Zcash after it's 10x, that's candy. That's what people want to see. So I have this thesis that if I release videos, I'm just straight up with people and I show them the candy and it's like, okay, here's candy. But to really have this candy, you need your vegetables, and here's the vegetables. That it'll be a different type of show. But also, people don't value what they're not paying for, so they'd have to then join the private Discord in order to get the deeper research. So for the last 5 years, which was my commitment when I started this channel, that for 5 years, I would do all this research. I'm doing it anyway, and I'd cover it on my YouTube channel, and you get access to it for free. All that deeper research now will be behind the paywall. And cool, people don't want it, they don't have to pay for it. There'll be some content on that. Some of it will just be like crazy things like cars and other things, and just talking about what money can do for you if you get crypto right. But if you really want to learn how to get crypto right, you have to join the private community. And for those that join right now, it's half price or less than what it's going to be in the future. So right now, the basic thing is like $20 a month. And in the future, that'll probably be $50 a month. And the gold member access, which gets you way more connection with me, is $100 a month. And in the future, that'll probably be $250. So those who do get started now get grandfathered at that price rather than the other price. And so will the nature of the channel change? Considerably. It'll be much more fun video showing like cool travel, nice cars, nice house, more flashy, showing what you can get with the money that you can make through this stuff. And all that stuff will be bought because of my investments. So one of the things I've hated about crypto YouTube is you have some content creators that have money because their audiences got really big because they've been covering tokens that are way up, but they're terrible investors. They're just good at getting an audience to follow them. So there was one in particular that had a Lamborghini. And people thought he bought that Lamborghini because he was good at investing. I'm not aware that he's actually good at investing. In fact, I've seen a lot of evidence to the contrary. But their channel was making $1 million a month from sponsors, which, oh, well, that makes sense how he could buy a Lamborghini, because the show was bringing $1 million a month plus in from sponsors. So, yeah. Yeah, so there's this confusion. They're like, oh, it has Lamborghini, he must be good at buying crypto. But his audience would frequently get wrecked because he'd be talking about whatever coin had pumped 20x and everybody's talking about, and he'd be covering that day in and day out, how he's adding more to positions. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like terrible thing to be doing at these prices, but okay, you do you. I like the principle of buy low, sell high. So I'm constantly covering things that everyone's hating on because that's when it's cheap. And everyone will hate me on the flip side because like when OMI is like 30 cents, you will see endless creators covering it. If it goes to 30 cents or even really high, even at 5 cents, you'll see endless content creators covering it. Be like, yeah, OMI's the best thing. I just sold my house and bought OMI. And I'll be like, oh, I just sold 50% more of what I have left. And we'll be taking profits out at those prices because that's sell prices, not buy more prices. And most YouTube creators don't get that, and their incentives are misaligned. So they talk about, their incentive is to talk about things when the prices are high. Why do you think Paul Barron washed out when OMI's prices were low? He was just mad that the views weren't as high as he thought they would be. And, you know, I don't know if he reached out to OMI or VV for some kind of sponsorship, but then it seemed like some other company stepped in and did a partnership with him. So he stopped covering OMI and VV and declared it was dead in a passive aggressive way, is like, is OMI dead? And then went on to make the case that OMI was dead. It wasn't dead, but then all of a sudden he was covering all these other brands related to another name several of which totally failed during the bear market and are dead. And yet, he declared Omi and Vivi was dead. So I took that personal because I was like, Vivi is a better deal. Omi is a better deal than it's been. And you're declaring it dead, washing out a bunch of new people who are trying to learn how to invest. And because you have so many followers, people think you know what you're talking about when you say, is Omi dead? And then go forward to make the case that Omi is dead. And so you're going to FUD all these people out at amazing buy prices, but these definitely aren't sell prices. And seeing that hurts my heart. And then endorsing other projects that have since failed and not owning up to it. And it's like, cool. All right, you do you.
Yeah.
Like, he does do some good videos. I like on his channel. He does a lot of interviews with projects and he brings on some great guests. But I'll always hold that part over him about the Omi is dead thing, because he could have been more wrong.
Agreed. There's one piece of data that I think you might enjoy and put into your calculations there for the prices for your Patreon. I was talking to a couple of friends the other day about just gyms and what you pay for, and for lifetime you pay, I think, $150 a month, and it's like, okay, well, that's a lot. Okay, yes, it is, but you're also weeding out the people that can't pay the $150 a month, and it's like why people shop at Target as opposed to Walmart, so you don't have to deal with the people at Walmart. So if there's any piece of advice I could give, or just that data that could maybe help, is increase that personal time number from 250 to quite a bit higher, because in crypto 250 is like nothing, and someone will do that.
Well,
You'll or at least cap it to like, hey, we're only going to
higher tier. There's the diamond tier, and the diamond tier gets my personal cell phone number, and we talk at least once a month, and they have freedom to call me anytime, and that right now is $500 a month. But that's what an hour of my consulting time is. So essentially they're getting an hour for free, plus they get all the membership benefits. And so that will go to probably $12.50. But somebody who joins Diamond tier now, they get that locked in. And so that's what the highest tier value is. And it's like, that will be inexpensive, even the $12.50. Like somebody who, because we'll have people coming in that their net worth is 50 million or 100 million. And they'll realize, okay, you have 8 years of experience. You understand like these pros and cons. That consulting time for them will be like a no-brainer. Yeah. And there are other people like, that's so much. No one would ever pay that. And in their world, they don't understand that that's inexpensive. Like for somebody that has the background that I do, that $12.50, it might seem like a lot. It seems like a whole lot to them. Somebody with a different background comes in and be like, why is that so cheap? What's the catch? Because you're right. You're right. Even now, like joining for $20 a month, I want to make that entry level so low that somebody in the Philippines could join. But the problem is, part of the problem is it's so low. If you think about it, like really on the investing side, so this isn't the fun VV part of the collecting. This is strictly thinking as an investor. So where do you go to school to learn how to become an investor in the crypto space? Like actually learn how to become an investor in the crypto space? Well, my audience, that's specifically what I created. That's what it's for. And so joining that is kind of like tuition, and tuition for $20 a month, it's ridiculously low. I mean, where can you get that kind of tuition? Not only that, is it surrounds you by a bunch of people that are on this journey with you. And the crypto cycles have been 4 years prior to this. This one's going to be a 5-year cycle. Going forward, we don't know exactly what the cycles will look like. I think the reason why this is a 5-year cycle has mostly to do with Fed monetary policy, as well as the U.S. under Gary Gensler, the SEC declaring war on crypto, which just delayed things. So this is more like a 5-year cycle, but it's still going to happen. And because it's been so delayed, it's going to boom extra. And so we're going to see this massive, massive boom, but say $20 a month, or it's going to be $50 a month per year. That's $600 a year tuition times, say 5 years. So that's $3,000 for 5 years of tuition. Wow, what's that compared to a university degree that gets you a degree you can put on the wall, which depending on what the degree is, may or may not help you get a job. So it's an inexpensive tuition.
Agreed. I think that there's I've seen that before when people like in Pokemon, like, oh, nobody's going to pay that for that. It's like, well, I know people that are, and the people that will, they recognize like the value of that. Like in the military, Happy Veterans Day, by the way. In the military, there was this one old lady that I met that was a nuclear physicist. That was a general. Why did they waive all the stuff, all the PT tests and all the physical requirements? Because she was a contractor, and that type of knowledge is just invaluable. So give her what they want. If you're, again, for your track record of success in crypto, time in the field, and obviously the I don't know how you like show them one of your wallets or whatever. Yeah, that type of knowledge that you have that you can only get from being in the field and doing these things is invaluable. Plus the network that you built as well. I imagine that what they're also getting is just like, if they're asking a question or they're asking for something that maybe you yourself can't do or don't know the answer to, you can probably call one of your friends or someone and be like, hey, is this possible? And be like, yeah. I imagine they're paying for that as well.
Well, Abe is in our Discord community, and he has been for 3.5 years now. And you can ask him what he thinks. I mean, you'll get a straight up answer because none of this was planned. We didn't even plan to talk about this today. It just came up. But is what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about like crypto's ability to be life-changing gains. However, like here's the big caveat. 95% of people that are in crypto are not having those kind of gains. So if you're doing what they're doing, you're going to have the same results. And a lot of people come in, they just kind of follow the flow in crypto, thinking that just by going with the flow in crypto, it's going to get you those gains. I'll tell you, it won't. You might even end up behind. So you have to be doing the right things. The person who got me into crypto in 2017 hasn't made meaningful money from crypto. The person who got me into the Akomi pre-sale in early 2018, he's not meaningfully rich from crypto either, even though he got started like a year before me. He had a YouTube channel, and he raised like 800,000 for Akomi's pre-sale. Because he charged a 10% fee, he personally had $80,000 in Akomi's pre-sale. Wouldn't you know he sold all that during the bear market? Didn't have any for the bull run.
Insane.
Why would you do that? Well, he's doing the wrong thing. He's a really cool guy. He's really smart at vetting companies. He's made a little bit of money, but he's been in for like 9 years and doesn't have life-changing gains. Oh my gosh. Is doing the wrong things. And if you come in here and do the wrong things, you're also going to have the wrong results. So I realized this when I got started. I didn't realize it right away. I did within about 6 months. And I was like, okay, what are the really successful people doing? And I'm going to copy the heck out of that. And it took me about 4 years to really kind of figure it out. And that's why I waited so long to really get going with the YouTube channel. Was I wanted to feel like I knew what I was talking about before I was like, here, do this. This is what I'm doing. That's why I didn't really start until December 2020. But in December 2020, felt just like it feels now. You could see the engine revving up, all the signs, all the lights were being cleared to be green. I was like, holy cow, now is the time to pull the trigger on my YouTube channel. And I had high confidence that the stuff I was talking about would go gangbusters. And they did. They did. And I would tell people, I was like, of course, like I was covering one thing that their token was like 1.5 cents or whatever, right? So like 7 months later, I get this notification on that, like 6 months later. And it's like, yeah, I just bought in. It's like the token was going for like $3. And he's like, I just bought in, really excited to be holder of the token. I'm just like, dude, did you watch the video? Because like I was covering this one. It was like 1.5 cents and it's $3. It's up 200x and you just bought in. Dude, what did you not understand about my video? Did you watch it at all? Yeah. We were buying it at 1.5 cents, not $3.
Yeah. That's hysterical.
Abe
feel bad a little bit.
What did Abe say?
Rain Rainmaker Group is fire. So many knowledgeable peeps. And in addition, private access to the projects feels like a cheat code. Agreed.
Yeah.
Probably.
So there's some stuff I didn't share that sometimes we have private interviews, exclusive interviews with the project that you can ask the CEOs, the executives, your questions directly. And sometimes we bring them on live that you can do that in general YouTube. But we do talk about a lot more in the private things because they know the video is not going public. So they feel more open with what they'll talk about in that environment. So like part of the reason I knew I had to start the YouTube channel, there was one company I was investing in. I had 40,000 invested in them. I could not get past their damn Telegram admin to ask them questions about it. And the Telegram admin was like, I'm like, can I talk to anybody? And they're like, oh yeah, you could talk to me. And it's like, how long have you been in the company? Well, 3 months. And like, he didn't know jack. And it's like, I don't even know if he was paid in that position. And I'm like, 40,000 isn't like I have 40 million invested with you, but come on. And then the next day I saw an interview with a person on YouTube that had like 700 subscribers, and the CEO came on and interviewed that person. I was like, so you're telling me if I just had a YouTube channel and had at least 700 subscribers, I could possibly get the CEO to come on and we could ask the questions, not only my questions, but the audience could ask their questions too? Well, of course I need to go that way because I'll be able to do a lot better research.
So we are at 2 hours now here. Shall we do one more fun question before we wrap up?
Well, I think we should bring Big A on for one of them. He has now
send him the link. And if you have the link, yeah, obviously. Send him the link, and then we'll get him on for a few.
Yeah, I hope you have your camera ready, Big A. I'm sending you.
I hope he has his dog with him. I want to see his puppy.
Right? Hold on. Where's my invite? I need the. Yeah, I have the link in Telegram from you. Let me see. Let me grab that. It's gonna take a second to work out.
It's all good. You were mentioning cars before, and Janoy Evans has 100 Maserati MC12s and 100 Maserati Alfieris. I think that people are betting on different things. Like, I think cars do go crazy because I can't believe that in the VV verse, like, where do you think it's going to go? Do you think it's going to stay the same or get worse or get better? It's probably going to get better. And I feel like you're probably going to be able to go in and use those cars. So I think cars will be very useful in there. Which goes to the notion that even within VV, not everything will run at once. You might have cars that run. Then you might have golden moments. You might have sub 100 things, Marvel, DC. So I think they kind of run in narratives as well.
So I just sent Big A the link through Discord. So yeah, jump on with us.
We'll see what he thinks about. Although he's got Omi, I don't know how much collectibles he has, but we'll see.
Big A runs a VV collectible show and has for a long time.
Oh yeah.
He was just not big on Omi until more recently he's come around, but he was spending time with very reputable crypto projects like meme coins.
Oh, they got in at the right price.
They got definitely tongue in cheek. I do not touch meme coins because, you know, Big A's done pretty well at it, but you have to. Big A's semi-retired because he's been good with his real estate investments. So he sits there and watches the sentiment really closely and has more time than most to jump on. It's not a very duplicatable pattern, but he's done well with it. As well as he's in a lot of blue chip, like lower volatility projects, ones that are more stable. They'll probably pump in this coming bull market, but they won't have the kind of multiples that I look for. So it's just a different way of investing.
Agreed.
What I like about Big A is he's thought about using his money to make money for him for the last 20 years. I mean, that's why I'm in the crypto space. You can make your money make money for you. So over the 4 or 5 year cycle, the amount of money that your money can make from you is amazing if you're doing it right.
We have a lot of things that we could go over. For Big A, although before we get him on, I'll as soon as he comes on, I'll get him on. You saw Prey when you were here a couple years ago. That was like a prequel. I just saw Predator Badlands. Have you seen that?
No, is it good?
That is so good. Like that is, I love Fantastic Four, and I saw that this year, and that was great. But Predator Badlands is better. Like that was, I was hooked the whole time.
Okay, I'm gonna take my expectations, lower them right back down, so I'll be like pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, Randy was overstating. It's gonna be terrible. And then when I go in, my expectation is so low, like you can just step over it.
Yeah, it was pretty legit. So as we get another product, someone was talking about Definiti. Well, someone's talking. All right, so the Metaverse thing. What are your guys' price points for selling Definiti? Well, not here.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. Their potential from here is crazy. So they're one of the most cash flow positive crypto companies I've seen. Yeah, like it's got potential to do 50x to 1,000x from here. I'll probably start taking profits at like 40x from here and just sell a little bit. With selling a little bit at 40x, then I'll be in profit already if I just sell 2%. And then like the rest is just taking profits as it goes up further.
We have added him, and we're getting a little spinny circle. There he is.
You got me?
We got you.
What's
Can you hear
going
me?
on?
What's up, fellas?
Howdy, howdy. We're talking.
I was actually like kind of just joking. I really wasn't trying to get on, but I'll come on. I mean, look, I did get at least the 40 mil owe me. I'm 38. Hold on. 36.84% in profit. So I got in a good I got in a good price.
Great price.
But
And
I don't have like a ton. But yeah, what's going on, fellas?
we had we had a big show. We had Foster on, we had Cosmo on. Obviously, Dr. Stuff was on for a little bit, but he had some signals crossed and he had to bounce. And
I was watching. I was actually just playing some off the grid while listening.
nice.
I got
Rain talks about that game a lot.
You should try it. It's fun. It's super fun.
It's so fun.
I am curious about the fun is a new aspect that you just didn't have in like Axie Infinity, where it was kind of like but for this it seems like a legit awesome game.
Yeah,
I've seen trailers for it. I've seen some gameplay. What can you tell us about the transactions on there? Like how many transactions per day do you think they do, or is that like not quantifiable? It's like there are so many.
I mean, there's a ton, but like they structured it to where you get nodes, and then the people that own nodes, when people decode a hex, like you basically in the game you find these hexes, you have to extract them, a little bit like Division. I don't know if you played Division. And then you open them up, and then you pay gun is the currency to open them up, and then whoever node gets assigned that hex. Okay, I'm coming. Look, this is Loki right here.
Puppy. Okay, that's a good puppy. Oh yeah,
this is my baby.
Hi baby.
Okay, I know. Okay.
He's a very bossy dog. We'll be playing off the grid, and the dog will be like telling him, "Hey, it's my walk time. Hey, it's my lunch time," and he'll be talking to the dog. He'll be like, "No, it's not ready yet.
He knows when it's time to eat, time to go it's time to go for a walk. So he's ready to go. He'll sit down.
Okay, so you get the
hexes, and you
pay for it with gun. How do you get the gun token though?
Okay, so you get a little bit each time you play a game.
Whether you win or lose.
Yeah, but the higher up you place, the more you get. But mainly like I get my gun from like finding stuff in the game and selling it in the market. I mean it's just not like crypto gaming narrative right now. So there's
two ways to go about it. You can get gun by getting really good and placing high, or you can get gun by by sucking, as long as you find really good things in there that's available to sell.
Yeah, or you have like a monthly subscription and you get like a battle pass and you get stuff out of there if you have the monthly subscription, and those things usually sell for a decent amount. They have
So-
contests. We just had like a Halloween event. The mask I pulled, they sold one for like $1,200 on mainnet on OpenSea. The one, look, Rain's got the good one. He got the Bored Ape Gold one. They've sold, I think they sold for like 3,000-4,000 just a week ago. The one he won, and he just won it for a
And
contest.
they're crazy to be selling that now. So I made a
Yeah,
deal with my
and this
wife.
is like selling at the bottom. Like I think it'll do well.
Yeah.
But
So 3,000, they're literally selling that at the bottom. There's 100 of the gold
Really?
Bored Ape Yacht Club like collab they did of these gold masks, and somebody's selling it now for 3,000. Like I made a deal with my wife. I'm gonna buy her a Genesis SUV, and I told her I am strictly gonna use video game money for it. So that every time you give me crap for playing video games, I'm like, baby, I'm earning your
you got your car.
Genesis
Right.
SUV. Right. And it's just funny because it's like, for me, some of what I do for work is playing video games, but I do it for work because, I mean, half my investments in crypto are in blockchain gaming. So it is just research. Sometimes it's playing off the grid with Big A and some of our guys that are really good and earning stuff that you're going to sell later for money. Like that alone will probably be able to pay for the Genesis SUV, because right now it's $3,000, but in a bull market, I'll probably be able to get like 120K for it. After taxes, I'm looking at still really good profits. And not only I'm going to buy her like such an upgraded one that she will be embarrassed a little bit, because she's kind of modest. She likes nice up, but she doesn't want it super flashy. So I'm going to buy her a really nice one that is super flashy. So she'll blush a little bit and they'll be like, oh, nice car. And it's kind of flashy. And they're like, yeah, my husband bought it for me with video game money.
My neighbor has a Genesis. Well, a couple of my neighbors do, and I didn't actually know that was a brand. I thought, because all the Genesis I've seen were the SUVs. I'm like, oh, that's the Genesis SUV. It's the Hyundai or Kia, whatever the big
You
brand.
thought it was like a model, like a Kia Genesis, rather than its own brand. Yeah, me too.
And I saw the sedan. I'm like, wait, how's there a sedan? I thought that was the SUV. And then I was like, oh, it's like the Lexus to Toyota or whatever. It's like the higher end.
Yeah, I think Hyundai's high end is what the Genesis is.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what do y'all think's gonna happen on the 19th? Like, where are y'all leaning? Like, do you think I'm still on the fence, but like, it's such a big change. I don't know if it's going to be like a sell the news. Like, whatever happens, I think it's going to be short term. I think we're going to do well, but is it going to be like a pump situation, like up, or is everyone going to be like, oh, there's a big change, let's kind of sell a little, wait and see? What do you?
I would have said the opposite. Short term, because you have some people that would not, that are very confused about crypto, and there's some people on the Facebook that are just like, I don't know how to do this. I'm selling my stuff now and cashing out now, and they're really trying to do that because there's a little bit of a barrier of technology where they're not in the crypto, and suddenly you get 6 different wallets, and it's like, okay, how do I cash out here? And that's a little confusing. But then you also have you have people that would not have sold OMI, that would have just cashed out in gems. Now they're cashing out in OMI, and they will swap it. I do think that with this Kraken announcement, though, there will be a bit more buy pressure. Maybe not for the first 2 weeks, because apparently we're not supposed to get this until like early December now, say mid-December. But for the first couple of weeks, there'll be a little bit added sell pressure. And then also when you have OMI to gem, where if you just don't have the fiat or you don't want to, pay fees, whatever, you do OMI to gem, that's fine. And Vivi will get that fiat because Stacker will do whatever necessary. I mean, Stacker's not just going to take OMI and then send Vivi fiat. I mean, I'm sure they could for a little while. It's run by Dr. Profit. He has like unlimited money. But it would make sense that Stacker would have to sell that OMI, convert it to fiat, and then give it to Vivi. So I do think there's going to be a little bit more sell pressure on there for the first at least couple weeks. Does this change? I mean, there'll be cross trades as well, because like it's a new utility for OMI. There's going to be more burns. There's going to be a little bit more hype, especially with this Kraken announcement coming. And then, we had TMNT and Street Fighter, and I did not expect those or things like those up until the NFT bull run was kind of here.
Yeah.
So maybe David's big announcement that we were supposed to get like in May, maybe that comes early too. So I think they are doing things to offset what would be some sell pressure. I would expect that for a few weeks it evens out, and then we go up much later. But again, that's just my general thoughts. It could be wildly way off. Rain, what do you
Yeah.
think?
I don't know which way it's going to go, but like I take the longer view anyway. That's like
Yeah, well, yeah. I think we all agree longer term it's going to be pretty good and do well.
like it's fun when you just bought a bunch more Omi and right the price is up from here, but like prices could go back down. In the meantime, it's like I kind of take the long view. Like everyone's flooding on Omi and it's terrible. It's like that is music to my ears. In an environment that I'm looking to sell in, like everyone is talking about Omi and oh my gosh, and Batman and Superman on the blockchain and oh this VV thing is the greatest thing. In that environment, I'm like, oh, and in the meantime, like you just go about enjoying your life. So this is what making your money work for you does is like, I don't know what Omi does then. It'll be fascinating to watch, but either way, it's like I've been dollar cost averaging the Omi across the whole bear market. And it's like, if it pumps, great. If it only pumps, say it pumps 4x from here, it's like, well, it's still not in a take profit zone for me. So that's immaterial. And what will it do after going up 4x? Maybe come back down. Depends on when the digital collectibles narrative happens, because when that happens, that's when Omi's price runs away. And at that price, then it's just sell only, right? So if it goes 20x from here, we're past my buy zone, like no more buy zone. Like all my load up time was done. That is taking profits out as things go crazy zone. And that's where so many people go wrong. They wait to start buying until then, and they missed out on this window where we had the most amazing gift that for some reason the pendulum swings too far to each side. It swung too far to the upside in 2021. It swung too far to the downside. Most people couldn't recognize it because they don't know what buying low looks like. It looks and smells a lot like crap, and it hurts, and it emotionally hurts if you don't have the long view. And then you just wait till everyone thinks
I
you're
remember
had Omi early, and then you'll be selling in that environment, not buying more.
I would say probably like my best crypto buys were like when it felt like I've got to be an idiot to continue to buy this. Like I remember in 2018, so like in 2017, I was buying Bitcoin from like 3,000 all the way up to like 11, 12, something like that. And then the price went down to like 5, 6, and it kind of held there. I'm like, I'm down like 50% on like my highest buy, but I'm gonna buy here. And then it went to 4. And then in December, it went to like 3,200. I'm like,
Yeah, I remember that.
do I sell it all or do like I just go hard here? And I decided I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna buy a couple Bitcoins here. And I
And
really
it
felt like
feels
I'm just throwing this money away. But I'm in.
Let's go. Yes, let's
And
freaking
that
go.
was probably like the best trade I ever made. But like that, exactly what you say. Like it's like look at April after tariffs. Like that was like everything felt like it was going off a cliff, and anything you bought in April has done well. We're kind of at another one of those points where like it really feels like this run has a chance that it could be over. It's a very small chance, and I don't think that's the case. But I think I have to accept that that's a possibility. So, but I haven't been trading as much. I've just been kind of building higher conviction bags. So, like the Omi I built up, it's not a ton, nothing like what y'all have, but um, I I'm not gonna like try and take profits today. Like normally the trader in me wants to see, oh, this might trace back a little before it goes higher. Let's just leave it. Let's just keep building the higher conviction bags and hold them. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
I
But
did mess around with the trading like that some during the bear market because bear markets are boring. And then I had one run away from me completely that like I shot myself in the foot. And all the gains that I was having fun like doing these little trades, like I missed out on the biggest opportunity. So I had like, I don't know, like 2,000, 3,000. I was playing in this one. It would go to 14 cents and then to 7 cents, 14 cents, 7 cents. So I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'd buy at 7, or I'd sell at 14 cents. I'd sell half. So I didn't want to be completely out of it. And then go to 7 cents and I'd buy back and I'd end up with more. And I did that a couple of times. Then it went to 14 cents. I sold half, went to 21 cents. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to sell it all because I think it'll come back down to like 7 cents. It came back, touched 14 cents like that, and it just ran away. Like, gone. And it went to like $27 or something.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that cost $1 million.
On the higher conviction stuff, that's always your worry, that it's gonna run away from you, and then you're gonna end up chasing and losing more than if you would have just stood still.
And I didn't chase back into it. I was just like, crap, I missed out on this one. So now I just like, I don't sell, I just buy more. So when things go really cheap, I just buy more. And then I buy more. And if I sell, like, you know, I quit my day job in 2021, so I have to sell crypto sometimes just to fun living. And I live very modestly still until after this bull run. Then I'll live quite extravagantly. But like, so sometimes I have to sell for that. But other than that, I don't sell. I try to buy more, especially when prices are like this.
Yeah. Yeah, but everything's so cheap right now too.
There's a lot of stuff that's cheap. We don't know which narrative is going to hit first. Could be gaming, could be memes. But what do you think is going to be the catalyst that will bring back the NFT narrative this time around?
I think it's all going to be money led, like profitability. Like you saw a little run we had when the birds ran, the moonbirds ran.
It's when
Bored got a little bit. I mean, it's definitely not dead. There's a lot of NFT guys that I follow in the space that go for like all the new drops and new mints, and they're still making money. They're making good money. It's just it's kind of like VV right now. Like most of the drops is very hard to make a profit just the way the numbers work. But there's certain drops, if you know and you can land it. Like we just had what was the one we had before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh, Street Fighter?
Yeah, Street Fighter. You landed that secret rare. You knew it was gonna do well. So, you know, it grows from that. So like as you get more and more of those where like whatever if you land it, you get the whitelist for it and you can land it and make you're basically guaranteed to make money. You're gonna see that continue on. That's going to be like the starting momentum, and we're somewhat there, but we got to have like the whole altcoin season kind of start running. It really hasn't, and Ethereum's looking weak right now. So
I mean, we got to see it run. How low do you think we see Bitcoin go? Does it touch back to 98 and bounce from there? Does it go lower, go into the low 90s, high 80s?
I don't think it goes even back to 98. I don't think so. If it does, it's immaterial. Like it just is going to touch back in that area before it does go big. All the lights are pretty much green. So this trade deal being worked out, this administration is pushing forward with massive crypto regulation for just clarity. They're very pro innovation. They're not trying to kill crypto. You know, Trump pardoning CZ was a big show of faith that he was legitimate on bringing crypto into America, because that prosecution again was led by Gary Gensler's SEC in the US, putting all kinds of pressure to make that happen. And so just criminalizing crypto really is what the last administration was doing, and this one's going the other way. Very pro crypto environment, and so money is going to flow in like we've never seen in crypto.
Yeah.
Big A, you are also in Definity, or at least we're in the Telegram. I don't know if you still have it.
I've only accumulated. I haven't sold one penny of my Definity.
When you do, what are the price points that you were looking at? Is it like, hey, 10x is fine, want to go to 15 cents, or are you in it for like long haul?
So what I told my friends that don't have a ton of money, and I don't like to give advice like even on crypto, because I'm playing kind of with house money. But when I talk to them about Definity, I'm like, this is way underpriced. I'm in this for sure, at least to a 4 to 6x, which I think it's like a no-brainer with the business behind it. You have at this market cap. It's an attention game. So it just has to get the attention. I think they did one buyback. It'd be nice if they got some more buybacks, but that's like my base case, and then I'll reevaluate. Is what I told them. I hope it'll do better than that. But you gotta. I'm setting pretty, I guess, low expectations for is what y'all would
Very
say.
low expectations.
Yeah,
But,
we're going in hard.
That's the 4 to 6x would still be really good, but 100x would be even
I'll
better,
take
right?
it. Like it's
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, 4 to X. Well, part of it is your aspirations get so low, and after this kind of bear market, you're like, wait, what? I can have a 4 to 6x because your expectations have been punished severely. It's kind of like you've been in prison and beatings are daily, and you're like, wait, I can have lunch and no beatings? I'll take it. So 4 to 6x will be like, it'll feel like an amazing relief, but that's just part of the way some of these
Over the
things.
years, as my portfolio has gotten bigger, really, I retired with I call it retired. I don't do anything all day. I have my rental properties bring me money, but and then I have my investments and stuff. But I still actively trade, and I'll do some house flips and stuff like that. But as it's getting bigger, it's more like I'm moving from wealth creation to wealth preservation. So I'd rather, instead of putting 100,000 to something that may do nothing or 100x, I'd rather put $1 million into something that's going to do a 2 to 4x.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm a little bit low risk curve tolerant. I mean,
Well, it also has to do with what amount you're deploying, right? Somebody deploying $50, it's like taking profits at 4x is like, why? You put $50 in, you deploy $1 million in, and you tend to be more careful with it. It's okay, at a certain X, much lower multiple as you're taking your initial back out. And yeah, that makes sense.
I put $100 into Santa Coin.
I see 30%. People, Rismus is the one a lot of people were talking about. It did well last year, and
okay, I could see that.
It's a Solana meme coin. Actually, look, this is from a meme coin. Degen actually made 27,000 on this stupid coin from.
I would have got the sweatshirt too.
1,100. Yeah, it's got the arms and stuff. It's a comfortable shirt, but yeah, one thing I've never really actively traded until the past 3 years, and definitely having size makes it so much easier, because it's so hard to take $100 and try and make it into 1,000 or 10,000. It's easy to take 10,000 and make it into 15 or 20,000, and that's 5-10,000 profits. Really great money.
Well, when you see it's easy, a couple things with that. Easy, no, you have to have a knack for sentiment analysis, especially if you're playing around the meme coin stuff. Number two, some of them straight up rug pull. So people remember their winners and they block out or black out their losers, right? Because sometimes you deploy 10,000 into meme coin, just straight up gets rug pulled on you. And you're like, oh, damn.
Well, so 99% of what I do with meme coins is I'll get whitelists that I can go in at the beginning, and I have probably an 85%. Even the guy I do the VB show with, BE, he turned on one of the meme coins we got last year. He turned $130 into $5,200 in, I don't know, an hour and a half. We just got the whitelist, and so that's the only way I really play meme coins. Although I bought some fart coin. It hit my stop loss and got out of it. But more of my trades are I did Pith. Pith was an Oracle, Chainlink. So Pith got mentioned by the government literally the day after I bought it, and doubled literally the day after I bought it. I took half of it out. I still have the rest back in there. but I bought pump.fun at 31, rode it to like 85 or 90. I think it went to like 93. I actually just got back in today at like 44, so I'm actually down a little bit. But they're making like over $1 million a day, so I like that. So I'm not going into like crazy meme coins that's all sentiment, but I follow a lot of the really good traders, and I can kind of see like what they like, what they looking at. So that was kind of like why I bought Pump today, because you see like Mark Davis, you see Easy Eats Bodega, um, a bunch of those really good traders are like it. I didn't catch the Zcash trade. I've
Well,
been seeing Zcash.
Yeah.
I used to mine Zcash in 2017. I used to
is it, is it fair to say when you have a big enough YouTube channel, if you buy something and then you cover it to your audience, that pumps it? So it's like when you have a really big YouTube channel, they're like, oh my gosh. So what's so funny is I was watching Crypto Banter, and he was like, every one of my trades in the last like number of trades except for 2 did amazing. And well, they're the 2 I didn't tell my audience about. Okay.
Yeah.
So like what he would do was buy and then tell his audience about it, which would pump tremendously the token because he has a big audience. And the actual ones where he had to compete like everyone else, that he wasn't essentially telling his audience about it after he had bought, he lost money on. So when he was subject to the rules that his audience is subject to, it went terrible for him. And it's like, is he a good trader? Like, is Lark Davis a good trader? I'm not convinced. Is he a cool guy? Yes. Do I watch some of his videos, like informational? Yeah. But like when you have an audience that has 300, 400, 500,000 subscribers, because you're talking about crypto, people assume that you're a good trader. So when you talk about something and I just bought something, they then follow your trades. And then all of a sudden it looks like you're a good trader when it's like, no, you just have a large audience that's buying everything you're buying.
Yeah.
So like Lark has that. And enough people then start following your wallet. So it's like when they buy something then pumps because other people follow into it, and it creates its own cycle of pumps.
Oh yeah, that's basically how all the big meme coin traders do well. They get copy traded, and then they dump on their traders.
No. So what I tell the audience about trading meme coin stuff, like there's a certain pattern that you're looking for. Like what I invest in crypto, there's a pattern. I look for what I feel are solid businesses, and I'm looking for this kind of timing. And when you do that, it works really, really well. It's not that you can't make money in meme coins, but here's the pattern you're looking for. You want to look at what the big meme coin traders that have a track record of success, that everyone is then copy trading them, and you want to buy it as soon as they're buying stuff, and then you want to exit fairly early, and you can make some of these swings. And that is the only way that you will make money on trading meme coins. Anything else, you might as well be going to the casino. Can you make money that way? Yes, I think about opportunity cost because that's more fun. It gives you something to do in the meantime that people plug in their time. But I look at over the 4 or 5 year cycle, what makes the most. And so I don't know anyone who's become multi-millionaires through doing that. They've made some fun money. They've made pretty good money. The ones that I know that are uber rich, they literally were buying projects that were super flooded during the bear market, particularly 2 to 6 years old. They had a good leadership team. They were very transparent about what was going on. And, through 2018 through 2020, their price was super punished. And then in the bull market, like projects like Matic, Cardano, like Matic's market cap was super low. And, and then rebranded to Polygon, and their token price took off in the bull market as their use case came to fruition. And like they made 200, 300, 400x on some of these investments, became multi-millionaires. And so that's the type of stuff I look at, which just like it can get boring. The fun thing about like meme coin trading and doing this is it gives people something to do. And sometimes people need something to do because the real wealth generation can be a little bit boring, like 5 years. And it's like, for example, OMI's an interesting play. I've been dollar cost averaging. And had I known exactly where to buy, I would have like at the bottom, let's say recently we're at the bottom. If I had waited till then to deploy all my capital, I'd probably have like 2 billion OMI right now. It's like, well, I didn't know that was going to be the bottom. So I was dollar cost averaging in. Is it exciting and everything? Not till that point when everything goes crazy. That's the exciting part. In the meantime, it's a very boring strategy. Boring, but nothing beats the kind of gains you can make this way.
Just a side note, I caught the bottom of Omi.
I'm super glad you did. And you were able to leverage the experience of us being like, holy shiz.
So like when it hit double 18 and held it for a while, and then it kind of got away from me. I'm like, let's see if it comes back, because we still are not like in the narrative. We're still not like in the alt season. So I waited, and when it hit 18, that's where I bought half my bag, and then it went lower. And then when it got really low, I kind of doubled or higher than on my bag, and I'm like 159 or something. My average 156.
Sweet.
That's amazing. You'll be so happy with that. Like I missed the bottom on Cardano, and still Cardano made me $1 million.
Oh yeah.
But like it's like shoot, because half my buys came in at 3 cents. It bottomed out at 1.7 cents. Some of my buys were at 5 cents, at 7 cents, at 9 cents, and 11 cents. Like, well, shoot, I didn't know, but oh well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's fun when you do hit some, and especially when it confirms it's the bottom and it runs away, and you're like, yes, in your case, I bought half my bag at the bottom. Holy cow. It's like riding a rocket ship, because sometimes we look back at the charts and it's like from the bottom to the top, Omi did 3000x from like 2020 into 2021, but that's only if you timed it perfectly, that you bought it right at the bottom and you sold it right at the top, which nobody times it perfectly. So if you're lucky, you caught like a 400x, because you dollar cost average in at really good prices, and you dollar cost average out at good prices, and you made 400x. 400x is life changing.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned like a 4 to 6x on Definity, where you'd be like, hey, that's enough, that's fine.
Well, no. I'm not saying like that's enough. I'm just saying like that's my base case, where I think, this it's almost like a no-brainer. I feel it should do that. I'm not saying anybody should buy based on what I feel. And then I'll reevaluate if see, what's going on. Is there like more attention, public, and then maybe I'll just keep it all. I'll take a little bit of profit. Just reevaluate.
Fair.
So like nothing set in stone, but
I've said I think Omi could, in a blow off top, go 2 to 4 cents. Payment Kawada's like, when do you think we reach 5 cents? And be advised that market cap would be about $15 billion if we go there. That's a lot. I'm not saying we can't do it. It's just a lot. What are your thoughts about selling on the way up? Are you going to reevaluate at every 001, 003, half a penny? Are you just going to always have a bag in there for like a moonshot, but 90% will be gone at a certain point?
So with Omi, I think VV is going to be around for quite some time, well into multiple bull runs. So I will always try and maybe keep some, but my biggest concern with Omi has been that we were getting close to like the end of the 4-year cycle, and everything's still kind of not doing much. And then we got the pump like a month and a half ago or whatever, and it showed some life. So that actually got me interested, because I have a few projects that are like always in the background. I kind of monitor what they're doing, and then when I see like an opportunity, then I'll jump in. And that's what I saw when Omi came all the way back down to double 18. Even if it went lower, I'm like, it held that place for so long. It kind of bottomed there. So I felt good about buying there. But it depends, if we're in if the alt season looks like it's coming to an end, and Omi's already done like 5-10x, I might take 75% off the table. Like, if we start hitting those end of bull run indicators, you have Bitcoin 2 weekly closes under the 200-day SMA. You have, there's tons of indicators, but that's what would make me want to sell although it could be early.
Fair, good stuff. I don't know, in your experience, when a new announcement for an exchange is brought up, do you buy before it gets listed and then sell on the actual listing date? Do you wait until? I mean, this is a bigger exchange too. What are your thoughts on it?
I actually made a ton of money on not this G-Gen. There's another D-Gen on Forecaster. It's a base token. It's like a meme token.
Yeah.
No, it's not D-Gen. It's the one with the purple hat. Is that D-Gen?
Not familiar. I don't.
Yeah, D-Gen. Yeah.
Okay.
On this is what it did on the Coinbase listing. Let's see.
Coinbase obviously huge.
Yeah.
It went from like 0.005 to 3.35 3.5 cents. But so I heard whispers that it could happen. I'm in a couple of like alpha groups and whale groups, and they all talk and spill the beans and stuff on some stuff. And so I loaded up a bag, and as soon as it hit the exchange and it got that peak, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it came all the way back down and went even lower. And it's a good token. It's like a currency for the Forecaster system. But it's but yeah, usually like the listings are like a short term. Well, it's a case by case though too. So what happened with Omi when they got the DEX incorporated into Coinbase? There was a little bit of a pump, but there really wasn't a dump. It kind of was already kind of doing its own thing. We saw a big pump today with Kraken. I'm sitting still. You can't go up this much without retracing a little before going to the next leg.
Yeah.
Usually. So it might pull back 20% from its peak high, and then but it could be. I mean, you saw what we did like a month and a half ago. Like it looked like it was going to pull back, and then the next day it like did another double or a triple. Like it just and last time that happened, I don't know if y'all noticed, when Omi got that crazy run, part of my thoughts were something started it, but the whole market was down except for Omi. And with Omi up and looking like profit could be made there, all the traders kind of piled in on that. And that's kind of what we're seeing today, where like the whole market's down, but Omi's like doing its own thing, going up. That maybe that could happen again, where like, oh well, let's all pile into on the profitable trade.
Their timing on releasing news is the worst, but what are you gonna do? It happens.
Well, at some point it takes its own momentum where the digital collectibles narrative goes crazy and all these people wake up to this idea, oh my gosh, Batman and this on the blockchain and oh, this is crazy. And it's funny that like until it hits, people can't see it. So when I first covered VeVe, it was like 3rd of March, 2021. And I tried to do some research on VeVe's app. I couldn't find a single video on it. I guess some other guy covered it for the first time that same day. But when I was researching to release my video, I couldn't find anything on it. And so I did it on this. I was mispronouncing VeVe because I'd never heard somebody say it. So I was calling it Vive. And this video on the VeVe, I was like, this Batman on the blockchain is going to be a really big deal. And literally half my audience got pissed about that video. And they're like, go back to covering Cardano and cover the legit projects and nobody cares about Batman on the blockchain. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm here as an investor. Like, you don't get that this is going to go crazy. But at the time, like Cardano had already started its climb. So a lot of the audience was coming into Cardano late because it was up and the recency bias was, okay, Cardano was at 3 cents and now it's at 35 cents. They could look at that and be like, oh, Cardano is serious. And this Batman has been available for like 5 months and it hasn't even sold out yet. So why would anybody buy that? That's stupid. But from there, like the Batman did a 200x. Like those are crazy gains. And Cardano still had a 10x left in it, but 200x, 10x. And so like they just didn't get what my channel was about yet, or you know, they were just new in investing, and they're like, cover where all the action has been, not where the action is going to be, right? So I wasn't playing into their recency bias. They're like, you know, it's not even selling, and cover the real stuff, and who cares about Batman, these silly characters. And it's like, I'm here as an investor. I care about the Batman thing if it's going to potentially do well, and I don't see why it's not going to do tremendous from here. I didn't know what kind of gains it would have, whether it do a 50x or a 100x or a 200x. We now know what the numbers look like. That it did about it went to about 16,000 from 80. So okay, that's 200x. That's amazing. Yeah, but like a lot of the audience didn't get it because they don't get buying low. They don't get being patient, letting it play out. They want to chase the gains once they're happening. So when Omi starts running away and Omi goes to like a bunch, when we do a video on like, I'm taking profits, we'll have all these people that are newly joining that are like, you're crazy. What are you doing? I just sold my house to buy more Omi. And it's like, okay, you know, at 2 cents, you sold your house to buy more Omi at 2 cents. Like, are you crazy? Like, that's going to go poorly for you.
I had somebody offer me his house for my trophy Kangaskhan out in Vegas a few years ago, and I did not take it because the house is worth like 150, big fixer upper, and the card sold much higher than that. But yeah, people will do crazy stuff for things.
Do you still trade Pokemon now that it's kind of come back so strongly?
I will when after crypto hits next year and I have a little bit more play money. The collector in me wants to collect like the stuff that I had, and I'll get some of that back. But if I just look at it as an investment, because that'd be easier, just trophy cards, and I'll hold them for X amount of years, and that's it. The other stuff is, I mean, it's difficult to like offload because I get spoiled now with digital collectibles. Like I can sell something in minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I have to put something up on eBay, and then it all just, the taxes right away on that, and the fees right away on that, and God forbid somebody decides to be like an a-hole about it, and they're just like, well, I didn't get this card, and they're usually the first person to contact PayPal. That's usually the one that they side with. So if they're like, oh, I didn't get the right card, and they refund him, and then I'm out the card, and I am not at a mental place where I would be able to stop myself from doing bad things to that person. And it's like, dude, it's like a $600 card. It's not going to matter, but it's the principle of the thing. And I feel like that. I feel like that kid with
in other news, Pokemon collector has disappeared today, and nobody has found the body.
No, I see the videos on Twitter from like the meets where like they push fake cards or like scam people, and
oh, dude, that I wouldn't be able to take it.
What's funny is like in VV, we take for granted like this digital marketplace where you can put it on, you can sell it 20 seconds later. Somebody on the other side of the planet, but it's a real deal. Like selling physical collectibles is a pain like you have never felt compared to what we experience on the digital side.
When I sold that card, I flew to Colorado because like no USPS not going to insure it for $250,000. So I flew to Colorado with the card, and I was like, bro, like this is so sketch right now. And the dude is so huge. He's like 6'6". He's like 300 pounds. Like this dude he could take me if he wants. Like he straight up. But again, he was chill, and the lady at the bank too was like asking him because he was the one sending the money. I don't know if she thought I was like cartel or whatever. She's like, is he forcing you to do this? I was like, lady, he is 6 times my size. Like there's no, I'm not forcing him to do anything. Because he could only pay like $50K in PayPal. The rest had to be wires of like $100K each, and then he gave me some cards. It was very wild. It was very.
That would be nerve-wracking to go to that meeting.
Like what if he sent them and then I leave and then it's like, yo, he was totally forcing me to do that. Reverse those wires. You know. Yeah.
But like I you now that you do more crypto and see like stuff working on blockchain, and then you go back to like sending wires. Like I bought my car last year, and I had to send a wire, and it was like the most nerve-wracking thing. Like I've never been that nervous about it. It was like a six-figure wire. And I'm like, so maybe the guy who's texting me, let's make sure he actually works at the place. I'm like researching him. Then I'm call the bank to make sure he gave me the right account. He didn't give me like his account. Because once the money is gone out of your account, like it's gone, and you can't really do much. I could sue him if he doesn't
Exists.
deliver.
Yeah.
But in the
Um,
crypto age and blockchain age, it's like, you start getting used to that. Now you go back to like the ancient banking system where you have to send wires and stuff.
this is why I'm so bullish on Debbie. So I made a lot of money back in the day on Cash App. What was the Square? Because Square had they had Cash App, and because I would go into like these banks like for Pokemon cards, and it'd be like, bro, like you're not. I'm on. If I send you a wire on a Friday, and then God forbid Monday's a holiday, and it doesn't clear until Tuesday, this is chaotic. So Square that had Cash App and then PayPal's Venmo, it was just a no-brainer. I mean, I chose Square because they were just more undervalued and they had a high ROI. But this is why I'm so heavy into Devi right now, because they solved that problem of the T+2 settlement. That is wild that nobody else has been able to figure out that technology for T+0. Like I would, if I had the money, I would have gone to MIT, like the big engineering schools, and be like, okay, here's what you're going to do for me. You're going to be paid X amount of dollars per year, and whoever figures it out first, I'll have a bunch of teams. They get the bonus of like $10 million. Thankfully, Tom did it, and somebody mentioned the other day that it's possible that he gets like a Nobel for it in finance. It's like, yeah, probably, because that is going to change the entire system. Everyone's going to want to use it. It's all patented, and he's going to make money hand over fist with all that, and so will Debbie. So I see the disruption.
I don't have any Debbie.
Oh, bro.
The coins you like, that's the only one I don't have. I've been keeping an eye. I saw it dip down to the 20s for a second.
25 cents.
Yeah, and then it's back up to 41 or something, 44, something like that.
Yeah, I was trying to get more of it, and 42 cents now.
What's so funny is Big A, Randy and I have a friend who's like, he was going to move a bunch of money into Debbie. And, was it like 35 cents at the time? And I'm like, I think it goes lower, and talked to about doing an OTC deal. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you some at 30 cents. It's like, I think the market goes lower than that. So just wait. And it went 25 cents. And then he started to get cold feet and like and then it went to like 14 cents. It's like, no, like, oh my gosh, pull the trigger. And he didn't. And then it ran away to like $1.50 or $1.80. So it's coming back close to that. But imagine loading up like 200,000 at 14 cents. Like, you make your money on the buy, right? Like, so when you buy so cheap, like that's when it's most scary. Like, he was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's only so cheap because the vesting, and that vesting is going to end. It should never be at this price, and yet it is. But they just look at the price action. They're like, no, it's going to go to zero, is what they feel like. And it didn't. So he missed that window, right? Oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. It had a really big run last year. I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like as crypto comes back around, like we'll see what the run is this year, like, or like next. And hopefully that's when the really big run is, because it went to like 230 at the top not long after it launched. I think that's nothing compared to what it does in this bull run, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I hate to be that guy, but I do have a very early flight tomorrow, so I would like to
Look,
end it here.
All right, guys.
Turn on for a second.
I mean, we can talk off camera for a couple minutes, but I'm just I'm carrying this food baby from Veterans Day, and I'm just my back hurts. Like I was like, but everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Big A, thank you for coming on. This was very nice. We'll have you on again.